A very good evening, everybody. Nice to have your company wherever you're tuning in, all around Australia or indeed the world, on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Term 2 rapidly racing towards its conclusion here. This is Thursday night motorsport for week 9 of the term. And where else to go for some Renault Clio racing than the clothesline of Winton Motor Raceway in northeastern Victoria, one of the great little racetracks on Australian soil. And of course, it's a 2-continent, 2-car double-header for you tonight on One Make Thursday, because then we'll be heading to Europe, to the home ground of Porsche, ironically enough and appropriately enough, to the Hockenheimring for Porsche Cup action, with thanks to Blackout Electrical Solutions in the penultimate round of their championship, the final one-race night of their program. And I'll explain more about that a little bit later on. Of course, this is the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, with thanks to Waste Options and Blackout Electrical Solutions. Login systems, of course. More on them a little bit later. West Orange Motors as well. Big thanks to Astute Finance, Insurance and Wealth in East Brisbane. And also the great people at Fisher & Door Lawyers and John Simpson and the crew at Flash Graphics. I'm Zach Caban. Grant Gill is here alongside me. Winton first up, Grant. And I'm sensing that there'll be some animosity here from a couple of drivers. 1C Whittaker, the championship leader, at the top of the queue there, because this is not everybody's preferred car in this production car championship, and probably not everybody's preferred circuit either. So it's a savage combo.
It is indeed. We've got very excited, both you and I, when we saw this bloke in the server.
Great to have him back.
Oh, hot lap. And good evening to Antonio, all the way over in New York. So
just 5:27 in the morning over there. Very nicely done.
Hope the smoke's cleared up a little for you over there, that those Canadian wildfires are letting you breathe a little bit more easily. We in Australia are very familiar with those horrible conditions of smoke burning your eyes and clogging your throat. So hope it all is well over there for you, Antonio, as we hope it is for everyone who's tuning in tonight. Really looking forward to it. It's business.
Great to have Johnny Merritt back.
Yeah, business end of the season, Zach. It's all coming to a pointy end very quickly.
Yeah, can you believe it's week 9 already? I mean, that has absolutely bloody well flown by. And we have a look at the championship points coming into this round of the Production Car Championship, Grant. We can tell you that Chris Whittaker is on top on 370 points. Brendan Whittaker 328, so 42 points the buffer to play with CW. He might need every single one of those tonight, judging by what we're seeing in qualifying at the moment. Then Reece Gosner and Sam Chapman tied on points with Adam Lavis for 4th. Matt Schmidtke a little bit further back. Then Ryan Tegel, Chuck Fung Wong. And then, of course, we've got Anthony Adshead and Sean Rees as well. Gary Cousins just outside. Only 18 on the grid tonight. A couple of re-ins in Greg Favell and also Anthony Visma, who made their mark on Monday night in the GT4s, of course. Nick Wood's back on the grid. Aidan Schultz as well. Not the biggest field you'll ever see, but then again, car and track combo might have something to do with that. It's a field of 9-10 that'll line up here at Winton in about half a minute's time for the first race of the night. Now, that's the important point. Last week we had sprint racing across the board. It was very exciting because we had the first installment with the production cars. Of course, they were racing around, where were we last week? Phillip Island, of course, in the Mustangs. The Long Beach circuit played host to the Porsches. Tonight, only the 3 races for you on One Make Thursday. Here first up for 2 races from Winton for the Renaults on the full circuit, it's important to note. And then, of course, onto the Hockenheimring for a 60-minute race. Next week, there'll be 5 races on a Thursday night for the first time since we were doing the TCR Formula V days, which we're hugely excited about. Sandown first up for the Toyota 86s in the production cars. And then, of course, onto the Red Bull Ring for a 3-race format for the Porsche finale. So, yes, week 9 of term 2 has us waiting with bated breath for week 10 already. There's no doubt about that. Sam Muir and Greg Favell, the top 2 on the grid here for round 9 of the championship. Brendan Whittaker and John Merritt. Fancy that. John Merritt just straight up into the top 5. Hasn't been here all season. Darryl Sharp and Braden Sagassa from 3. Adam Lavis and Anthony Visma from 4. And Anthony Adshead and Sam Chapman from 5.
Wait a minute. Where's that other Whittaker bloke?
Yeah, just outside. Have a look at this. There he is. 11th, alongside Nick Wood. He won't be happy at the moment. Ryan Tegel and Aidan Schultz, Jared Gilbert and Brendan Griffiths as well. Phil King and Kurt Chapman with Matt Schmidtke making up the field. Now, it's interesting here because We should point out for those of you that are new to the production car format, of course, weather conditions have us at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. Get lost. It's never been 21 degrees at Winton in June. The iRacing taking the proverbial to a whole new level there, and 24 degrees on track. Yeah, maybe. Clear conditions, however, because, well, what else have they got? And the date is set to June 15, 2022. Just ignore 14. That's a little tech error that we can't sort out. We should also notice the lights are about to light up here and get us off and racing, that there'll be an invert top 10 for the second race here at Winton. Off and racing, beautiful start. Have a look at that. Brendan Whittaker straight up on the inside of Sam Muir and Greg Favell. Made right work at both of them. And Whittaker's going to lead the field to turn 1. Brilliant start. Favell on the inside, Muir on the outside. Here comes Merritt up, he's inside. Muir is under pressure from Hot Lap as he goes down the inside. He might get 2 for the price of 1 there. No. Yes, he will on the exit of 2. Edges out, Favell goes second. Muir's going to capitalise on that too. And all of a sudden, Favell's dropped 2 spots. And under pressure from third with Brayton Sagassa down on his inside too. Most of the action's going to probably happen here on the first lap, folks. So bear with us. The excitement might die down a little bit. Into cleavage for the first time.
Exactly.
Or what they would call in the family-friendly circles, and we're not anymore, tree corner.
The more things change, the more they stay the same. John Merritt, straight on in everyone's Brilliant. Less than favourite car, but maybe he does love it. Chris Whittaker not having made any movement whatsoever. He's tucked in behind Adam Lavis, sharing a Discord, so just sliding down the inside. 2 for 1. Very nicely done from CW. The charge begins, and it's a big charge back required here. Sam Chapman holding onto the inside as they go up to 11. Whittaker on the outside. Can he make that work? No, because Chapman comes across to cover it off. And Whittaker needs to defend Lavis there and does so. Through they come, 11 into 12, back onto the main straight. Now, if Whittaker can stay there, easier said than done, he'll invert and go to pole position. That might be the only spot of good luck he'll be receiving tonight here based on what we've seen thus far. Brendan Whittaker leads. John Merritt is second. Sam Muir, Greg Favell and Brayton Sagassa make up the top 5 at Winton, and already Whittaker under pressure from Merritt. Now looking at the lap times here, about 1.5 minutes a lap, so it's a 15-minute race. So that makes it pretty easy for the old Zaculator tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Expect us to get somewhere in the vicinity of 10 laps here. I know the standing lap time was about 1:38, but the qualifying times were around that 1:30 marker, 1:30, 1:31. So if they run along at that pace, yes, they'll do a little bit of overtime to get the job done, but they should get the 10 laps in. You can see Whittaker up front there working very hard. The big lock-up going into there, because these little things love to hike that inside wheel up and lock that up very easily. But the pressure is on. He's being blowtorched.
They don't give you much, these little Renault Clios, in terms of grunts, so you need to flog them. There's no doubt about that. Brendan Whittaker will be feeling the pressure. He'll be under the pump at the moment because he's got John Merritt right there ready to pounce. 1:38.608, but Whittaker needs to make every poster winner here because an invert would send him back to 10th for the next race. That's number 1. Number 2, he's also got that 42-point deficit to his teammate and brother to try and sort out as well, and only probably going to get this chance to do it because we know that CW prefers the 86. And the 86 is, of course, the car of choice next week when we get to Sandown, just down the road. Yeah, Josh, I think so. For memory, I think
there was some
yes, there might have been a discussion about who was going to be Mario and who was going to be Luigi. So Brendan Whittaker leads 1:31.387 that time around. We're right on board with Luigi, better known as Chris Whittaker. Oh, Chapman edged out, yes. So making the sandwich now. Whittaker at the front. Lavis at the back, and of course under pressure from Wood, Schultz, Griffiths, Chapman, Gilbert and Tegel, and of course in the middle of Whittaker and Maverick, or Lavis, is Chapman. This is how Whittaker got the job done, moved himself into 9th, locked it up, got it sideways, got it done. 1:31.387, the fastest lap of the race for that man right there, young Mario Brendan Whittaker, and John Merritt nipping at the heels and bringing Sam Muir and Greg Favell along for it as well. We weren't too sure what to expect tonight, but it would appear that we've got quality over quantity. And I think I think I've said this before when we go racing at Winton. Yes, it's not everybody's cup of tea, and it's understandable that that's the case. But for the right cars, and probably the slower the better, or the littler and more nimble light the better, this should throw up some good racing in the Renault Clios tonight.
Certainly should.
Because we've seen some crackers here in Formula V, haven't we?
Oh, absolutely. And just watching the difference between the two cars, John's just braking a little bit later and a little bit more gently. He's closing up under brakes every single time now. Whether that's Brendan just trying to put him off his stroke a little bit, but you see him close. Oh, Whittaker's gone a little bit wide there, a little bit deep. This is a good move, a good place to try and make a move if you can get it worked out. Oh, and the other two are right on him as well.
How good's this? And great to have so many of you tuning in on a Thursday night. We are with you all the way through till about 10:30 Eastern. Of course, the Porsche race coming away from 8:45. And have a look at Favell and Muir side by side through cleavage.
Top four separated by less than a second. Thank you very much.
It's fantastic. It's great to see. Good to see Anthony Visma back out on the track as well, but he's down in 8th spot, not able to move his way forward. We noted on Monday night that Favell was a new name, Visma a returning name to the circles of the platforms of the Gentleman's Sim Racing Club. We're right on board with Favell at the moment, probably running the striking livery of the night as far as I'm concerned, Grant Gill. Bugger Mario and Luigi, the yellow and blue is where it's at as far as I'm concerned. Through they come again.
Well, it's a very, very deep blue, isn't it? I thought it was black there for a little while, but no, you're right. Absolutely right.
Yeah, nothing wrong with my eyes, despite contrary belief. Down the main straight they go. And that's the end of lap 4. Lap 5 already. Muir all over the back of Merritt, has the fastest lap of the race, 131.165. 131 seemed to be where the pace is at the moment. Good to have our mate Antonio tuning in so early in the morning. He said it was the fire and the smoke over there was bad for about a week. He's never seen anything like it. I know that there was some social media satire thrown around about a topic that really is a little bit too sensitive to be poking fun at. But they reckon that the orange will actually be the way that New York is coloured after Max Verstappen wins his 7th race in the United States in the 2027 Formula One season, I think it is, such as the ever-growing presence of America on the calendar. Although on that subject, I did read today, Wide World of Sports published an article about potential expansion and growth of IndyCar. Here comes John Merritt. I'll come back to that point, Grant. Merritt to the inside on the exit of 9. Now, Whittaker's going to have the inside running for 10. Let's wait and see if Merritt will go for the switchback or whether he'll hang around the outside, hang tough and try and get the inside running for 11. No, Whittaker keeps him at bay for the moment. Muir's there in 3rd and Favell waiting to pounce as well. They've gapped Sagasa, Sharp, Visma. Whittaker's up into 8th. That's it, and then, of course, Chapman and Lavis make up the top 11 at the moment. Lavis needs to find a way by Chapman. Someone's going to miss out on the invert there, and they're not going to be happy about it. Back onto the main straight. 5 gone, 5 to go at Winton. How good's this? Brendan Whittaker, John Merritt, Sam Muir and Greg Favell, the top 4 at the moment. Throw a handkerchief over them, ladies and gentlemen, to turn 1 we go.
Oh, hello.
Whoa! Look at that! You're getting a really good look at Brendan Whittaker's livery as John Merritt ranges up the inside. Here comes Favell trying to get by Muir, wasn't close enough to get the job done. Muir was all over Merritt like a cheap suit. Same can be said for Muir for Merritt on Whittaker, I should say, as they make their way towards turn 5 once more.
Oh, look at
and
Muir.
Look at Muir giving him the hurry up.
We've heard from Chris
Muir's
Whittaker before here in the TCRs that you really need to plan a move about 4 corners early in this, and it looks like John was maybe trying to do that, but something's happened to Chris Whittaker, and we'll have a quick
no,
look.
he's down to 12th. He's down to 12th. He won't be liking this.
Oh,
Yep.
hello.
He just got sent.
He got Lavis. He got Lavis.
No, it wasn't Adam. I think it was. I think it might have been.
He got Trented, I should say.
Yeah, he got Trented. It wasn't. It wasn't Adam.
No,
it was. Geez, I can't even tell you who it was.
Let's see.
No, Visma's moved up into 7th. Let's have another look there. Who that might be. In the meantime, Dale Sharp's there having a good run in 6th place. Then Visma's 7th, Lavis and Schultz. Oh boy, trouble at 11 and a championship defining moment potentially for CW. Back to the main straight we go again.
Favell just dropped off a little bit.
Now Matt Schmidtke, I might add, has retired from the race. Anthony Adshead it was. Grant, I think you'll find he's dropped down 9 spots. So, yes.
Brother-in-law.
Family getting together on the racetrack. And not in a good way. Oh, how's Christmas going to be there this year? Now.
Frosty.
And then some. Oh, boy. So, Brendan Whittaker at the top of the field. Chris Whittaker in 12th place, trying to fight his way back. He's 1.5 seconds away from Chapman and Wood at the moment. Wood holding on to the invert position.
And we've heard Sam Chapman say he doesn't actually mind the little Clio. Certainly didn't at... and there's it is moved past...
Yep.
Hayden Schultz and Nick Wood just flipping and flopping. And, we've got Whittaker in there as well, but still on up front.
Well, actually, hang on. No.
It's not.
Hang on.
Another?
No, we've got 2 Mario liveries out there now, and I'm not. No, you can't do that.
Someone
that's not
has
on.
to be one of the other ones.
That's Hayden Schultz, is it? Is it? It's Schultze. Schultze's running Mario as well.
Right. That's
back to arts and crafts for you, Schultze. You need a little bit more in your creativity, Gene. I would have thought.
Yeah, we need Bob or something like that.
Not sure what's going on. Maybe Yoshi or Cooper Trooper, or if we're going to go down that line. Now, good move down there on the inside. This is Whittaker trying to get by Chapman for 11th. Can he get the job done to turn 1? We'll wait and see. Just, guarantee. Trust Schultze to throw the spanner in the works. Good on you, mate. Brendan Whittaker, John Merritt, Sam Muir, the fastest lap of the race. Greg Favell, 4th, still covered by the length of a handkerchief at the moment, or a king-size blanket. Take your pick. Through they come again. And this is lap 8, so we're getting towards the business end now. I'll come back to the point about IndyCar because it was something that did get my attention earlier in the day, and I'm sure it would have caught the attention of onlookers as well that have been calling for expansion in the sport for a few years now. Round they come. It's John Merritt in 2nd, all over the back of Brendan Whittaker. And he's been sitting there for the last 7 laps. Greg Padgett, yep, actually that's fair. Donkey Kong, I'm all for it. Can we draw something up for him, Greg, please? And maybe just do a switch over between races. No, it's all right. We'll persevere with it tonight, but we're not tolerating that crap next week. And all the best to you too, Greg. We know you'd love to be on the grid tonight, mate. We know you're still in the hospital. We know that we're at capacity next season. If we get you back on track next week, that's an added bonus. Brendan Whittaker, John Merritt, Sam Muir, Greg Favell, and Braden Sagas are the top 5, but it's the top 4 that have held our attention and captivated our imagination here throughout the course of this race. There are 2 laps to go. Look at the battle for 6. Dale Sharp and Anthony Bismuth. Oh, Bismuth's had a big moment coming out of 2. He caught the off-track Astro 2, and it sent him flying.
It is like, it's not so much a curb as a culvert there coming out of there, and he's absolutely nailed it. We've seen it in every class that's run around here, real world and this one.
Surprised it took that long, actually.
Yeah, you can see Favell trying a couple of novel lines back there to try and get a nose in there somewhere, try and get a better run off the back, but it's pulling Braden Sagasa up into this pack as well, with Dale Sharp having a good run. I'm sorry about that, Dale, because you're bound to go off any moment now, especially when I do this. But Dale Sharp going really well in the Sharp Sim Sports. Way back in the pack, Ryan Tegel. I saw it. Oh, Sam Chapman giving him
right on cue. Ryan Tegel's giving Jared Gilbert aria.
That's it. And I did see a little post. Here we go. Oh, it was Muir down the outside of hot lap.
Now, let's stay with this, Grant.
We will.
White flag. I should have set up the camera. I didn't, but that's okay. We'll set it up for the next race if it's going to be as good as this. Down the main straight we go. Brendan Whittaker, John Merritt, Sam Muir, and Greg Favell. It's a race in 4 at the front as they come to the white flag. The clock expires this lap. They'll get the checkered flag next time by the post. And the top 2 have gapped 3rd and 4th. They're fighting for rows 5 and 4 on the grid next in the next race. And we know that overtaking opportunities around here come at a premium. What has John Merritt got left in the tank? Can he throw anything at Brendan Whittaker, who has withstood extraordinary pressure from the outset here and controlled this race masterfully? To cleavage they go. Merritt to the outside. Merritt to the outside. Not close enough. Around the outside also is Favell trying to get by Muir. They've got back to Merritt and Whittaker slam the door shut on Merritt one more time. Championship defining race, this one. And we need to keep an eye on Chris Whittaker all over the back of Sam Chapman as well. He needs to make that move on Chapman to get the invert here. It could be Whittaker's at the top and the tail of the top 10. Down towards turn 11 we go for the last time. Merritt sitting there, not able to find a way through. Brendan Whittaker. The whole shot worked perfectly. He led to turn 1 from third on the grid. He controls the race the rest of the way. And after 30 kilometres around Winton, he gets the job done. And a win in the Renault Clio in round 9 of the production car series. How good was that? Lavis comes home 8th, Nick Wood 9th, then CW hasn't got by Sam Chapman. CW will start 11th, exactly where he started this opening race, and I tell you what, he will be filthy.
Yeah, it might be one of those rare occasions where he doesn't pop into the booth to say hello. Whilst we're on air,
I don't think it'll be safe for broadcast if he does, Grant.
No, that's right.
To be perfectly honest.
I'll keep my finger over the button just in case.
You might have to. Oh no. 1:31.165, the fastest lap of the race goes to Sam Muir. Brendan Whittaker gets the race win. And how about that? Just so much drama there. The big incident the big talking points was Whittaker starting 11th in the first place and then getting turned by his brother-in-law. And then, of course, we had just one retirement along the way there. That was Matt Schmidtke. Adset, after crunching into CW, got back into, finished as the last of the finishers, if you know what I'm saying, yes. If I can spit my words out properly. He was the last of the runners across the line in 18th place. Field covered by 35 seconds. Some good battles right throughout, including Chris Whittaker and Brendan Griffiths. They're all over the back of Sam Chapman. Whittaker very unlucky that he couldn't get the job done. So the grid for the second race will see Sam Chapman and Nick Wood lead us off, Adam Lavis and Anthony Visma the second row, Dale Sharp, Braden Sagasta the third, Greg Favell and Sam Muir the fourth, John Merritt and Brendan Whittaker the fifth. Let's plug a couple of things on the way here, folks. Thursday night sport. There's plenty of it on this weekend, and not the NRL. There's no NRL for the next couple of Thursday nights. Next week will be Women's State of Origin. Tonight, nothing. AFL, however, Geelong up against Port Adelaide at the moment, and Geelong 2-0-12, leading Port Adelaide 1-1-7. At 10 o'clock Eastern tonight, the Socceroos go up against the world champions Argentina in a friendly in China, of all places. I'm not sure who made the arrangements for it to be on neutral territory, but good luck to them. So that's coming up tonight at 10 o'clock. Of course, tomorrow night the Ashes get underway. Next Thursday night will be day one of the Women's Ashes. Oh, it's hard to keep up with it. There's a mountain of sport on at the moment. It's a good time to be alive. And, of course, people like me are on the countdown to the Sydney 300 at Sydney Motorsport Park on July 15 as well. So it's all happening across the course of the next 6 weeks. US Open golf this weekend, British Open this time next month, Tour de France not too far away, Wimbledon as well. It's a very good year of sport. It's nice to have some normality back in our structure of our season of sport. And we've been a mainstay here now. This is the 13th season in which we've been bringing you the action of the platforms of the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club. And it's all made possible thanks to these people coming across the bottom of your screen, including Blackout Electrical Solutions, Flash Graphics, Waste Options.
Chris Whittaker. We knew that.
Oh, we gathered that, Chris. We gathered that. Login Systems, of course. We should also mention West Orange Motors, Astute Insurance, Finance and Wealth at East Brisbane, and Fisher and Dawn Lawyers.
He's not overly fond of the track either, is he?
No. He's not fond of either of them. It's the ultimate combination for CW tonight. Thanks, mate. Go well in this second race. Has to be better than the first. And how's the relationship with the brother-in-law as well at this particular point in time, I should say. 4 o'clock. We've moved forward to 4 o'clock. Again, 21 degrees is taking the proverbial. We're off and racing. We're not mucking around. Let's go at Winton. Good start from Aidan Schultz further back in the pack. He made light work of a couple of would-be drivers there early in the piece. To turn one we go. They're all getting through somewhat safely. Very nicely done. Brendan Whittaker's made light work there of John Merritt on the inside to turn three. Got it done. Off goes Sam Muir. Muir's gone. That's costly.
Yeah,
No Matt Schmidt in this race. Sam Muir drops 10 spots. Anthony Adshead up 1. Jared Gilbert down 3. Aidan Schultz moved up 2 spots. So too Phil King and Kurt Chapman and Ryan Tegel. Brendan Griffiths and Chris Whitaker up 1 apiece. Brendan Whitaker up 2. DeGasser and Nick Wood have swapped around as well. So Gasser up 1, Wood up 1. So Wood's the race leader at the moment at Winton.
And John Merritt, he would have been trying all he could to stay in front of Whitaker that time round off the start, but couldn't quite do it. And Johnny Merritt in a Whitaker sandwich.
I don't envy him at this particular point in time. Chris the Raging Bull will be trying to find his way back into...
Oh, what a dive!
Salvaging John Merritt! A big dive, the one dive that he couldn't pull off in race 1, and he gets to the inside of Brendan Whitaker, but Brendan's getting the tie from the car in front, which is Greg Favell. Merritt to the outside, Merritt too deep, Merritt's off the road. Oh no, he kept it on the road, but he lost a couple of spots. Schultz nearly got into the side of him. Back to the main straight we go. And entertaining opening lap at Winton.
The production cars just never disappoint, do they? They're fantastic.
Not at all.
This is Adshead.
They're terrific.
Paying his invoice. He just, oh yeah, there he goes.
I don't know who it was that got into the side of him, but Chris Whitaker will be sending a 6-pack their way at the end of this race, I would imagine. That would be the square up and the stitch up, and there goes John Merritt into 10th place again. So the comeback is on for John Merritt. Next target, Chris Whitaker, then Brendan Whitaker, and Chris will be hoping to follow his brother through here for the sake of salvaging something out of this night. But stranger things have happened. It is Winton after all. Nick Wood's controlling the race at the front. Again, proving how difficult it is to overtake here, Grant Gill. Indeed. It'll be a case of taking your opportunities and making them stick when they're presented to you. As we see Brendan and Chris doing here. Getting down on the inside of Dale Sharp. The elbows are out. Sharpie and Whitaker exchanging panels. And paint. Again. To turn 10 we go. And Sharp drives that car down defensively through the inside of the corner and makes it as wide as possible. And now Whitaker looking to respond. He'll go deep under brakes here to try and get into 8th spot and does so. He needs to pull it up, get it stopped, does that, covers Sharp off, nicely done. Good hustle and bustle here. And Merritt's trying to find a way through on that as well. Nick Wood bolts at the front of the field, leads this race from Sam Chapman, Adam Lavis, Anthony Visma and Braden Sagas to the top 5. Merritt to the inside of Sharp at 1. Merritt to the inside to go to 9. No, can't get it done. Sharp driving down the middle of the racetrack, under pressure, under assault from not just Merritt, but also Ryan Tegel who gets him. Tegel using him as a brake, and I'm not sure that's on. I'm really not sure that's on. Aidan Schultz capitalises on that. He gets by on Tegel. Tegel's without the front end of the car. He's lost a lot of body work there on the back of this bit of hip and shoulder that race control will no doubt be casting an eye over.
So John Merritt had a look, and Dale Sharp's pulled it up a little early.
Bang!
Eagles has not, and absolutely nailed him right in the side. Greg Favell, fastest lap of the race currently, 1:31.39. So that's a good lap.
Just replace the door, Grant. That's not buffing out, I don't think.
No, that's right.
That's gone.
Right. Yep.
That'll be one on the fast repair for Ryan Tegel when he comes to pit lane, and also for Dale Sharp.
It might end up with a boot mark in it as well at some stage.
Exactly. Now, we shouldn't laugh, but we can't help it. There'll be another 6 laps on the back of this as well. So there were 10 in race 1. There'll be at least 16 in race 2 and some transit time down pit lane. So I think I think the transit time here at Winton is slow enough that combined with the fact that we're not doing 90 seconds flat might just get us across the line here. I will wait and see, but my money is on 16 laps for this race at Winton Motor Raceway.
Pit entry here is a bugger.
Not that mass is my strong point.
No, it never was. There you go, all right. The pit lane entry is an absolute bugger here. It's really a full stop before you have a look to your right and then head down into the main part, but it's a very, very tight 90 degree, and in your efforts to gain absolutely every benefit you can, often brings you undone. This bloke's having a good run so far.
Indeed he is. Adam Lavis in third place. Let's not put the mocker on him though, Grant, because how many times have we said that this season? No, he's going okay. And he's sticking there with Chapman and Wood, and Wood's controlling the race and bringing the pack along with him.
Yes,
Top eight are all showing as orange and yellow, and look who's got the purple box. CW. He's finally starting to master this bloody thing. 1:31.105. The fastest lap of the race thus far.
Yeah, that was a good lap. That time round, he was about 8 hundredths faster than Sam Chapman in there, and a little bit faster, as you said. Nick Wood just holding him up a little bit, so very good job of it. We know how hard it is to pass. Visma on Lavis.
Even in these cars, Grant, which is surprising, because we've often said that, and I said it earlier in the opening race, so Braden Sagassa was the pink car that we were looking at earlier in the piece. That's cleared that up. That's good.
Because he hasn't got a 1.9 livery for it.
But this is the point, isn't it? Like, some of these tracks are car dependent. Some of these cars are track dependent as to whether they dish up something good or something, down the proverbial in the old doghouse. And there's Ryan Tegel on the comeback trail making a move there on the inside. Oh, he's gone! Ryan Tegel's gone! And a little bit of net code takes Kurt Chapman with him and into the wall. Chapman finds the Marshall post on the outside of turn 4 on the run up to turn 5. Let's have a look at this again. Oh,
he's taking a big bunch of that outside. So who is it? Kurt Chapman comes up alongside. He goes deep and
Chapman
wide.
went wide. Yep.
Tegel comes
back down the inside.
And then Chapman just gives him a good old nudge for his troubles.
Oh, no. And what about the evasive action of the green and purple in the background there as
Jared
well?
Gilbert, perhaps.
As Chapman finds the wall. Oh, my goodness me. But this is the point, isn't it?
It's tight up front. Sorry, Zach. This is the front three. Sam Chapman.
And Chapman! Whoa! How tight, how close do you want it, boys? And Nick Woods, so this is the point that I wanted to make. Macca's trays on the rear. This is the point that I wanted to make. When you invert the field at a track like this, where overtaking is so hard to, firstly initiate, let alone execute, it does make for good racing, because if you can't find a way through, old mate's controlling the race here at the front. In this case, it's Nick Wood. So the pace is not there in the same way that it was in race 1. The field is therefore balked and backed up, and that's why we've got a 8 car freight train at the moment at the front end of this field. So that brings me to the next point, Grant. When do you pull the trigger? When do you come in for your little splash and dash? When do you try and get a leg up on the competition? When do you zig? Or when do you zag?
When do you take the Joker lap? But really it is, isn't it?
Exactly.
The pit stop.
Lap 6 at Winton. We've got another 10 where that came from for you. Hope you're enjoying the show, folks. If you're not, you're difficult to please. This is Thursday Night Motorsport for the second last time in the opening half of the year. Second last time in term 2. Second last week of the financial year as far as our broadcasts are concerned.
Adam Davis has taken the pit, as has Brendan
There you
Whitaker.
go. Someone needs to make a move next lap, was the comment from Brad, and he was right. And
Come on in and join us, mate. Come on in and join us.
Adam Lavis and Brendan Whitaker down pit right. This is the second last week of our broadcast for the opening half of 2023. There'll be another 20 weeks where that came from, kicking off July 10. So we've got the last week of the financial year off for vacation, and the first week of the new financial year off as well. But we'll be back with you on Monday, July 10. I was just saying to Grant earlier that even though I'll be in Cessnock, I'll make sure that I'm with you guys on the opening night of school, but then I'm having a week off to focus on the Sydney 300. So looking forward to that. We're at the 10-minute mark. So 10 minutes down, 15 to go, 2/3 race distance, 40%. Big block up from CW. And, early. So pit early for clear air to show your pace was the comment from Josh Zuno. That was in relation to, of course, Adam Lavis. Yeah. And they weren't the only ones. So Lavis and Whitaker came in at the end of lap 6. Sam Muir came in a lap earlier. Dale Sharp in at 6. Kurt Chapman in at 5. Ryan Tegel and Brendan Griffiths in there. And Nick Wood Nick Wood is off the road. Nick Wood is off the road. Sam Chapman's taken the lead as Nick Wood's gone for the whippersnipper. A little bit of grass clipping going on there for Nick Wood, and he comes straight to pit road. It only took one mistake, and it's opened the floodgates. All hell breaking loose at Winton. Chapman, Visma, Favell continue on. So does Merritt, Wood, Sagassa, and CW to pit road.
I was talking about the very tight entry there, and of course it shows off as a up as a crash on my event list. But here we go with Nick Wood. This is him coming down into this this tricky little section. You just don't want to go wide like that, but it's just dragging you in. And he's thought, all right, let's get out of here and see what I can recover further on. Great battle between, just trying to figure out the two yellow cars there. But Johnny Merritt up to 4th place, and Chris Whitaker has been in and out of the pits as well. So John Merritt is up 5, Aiden Schultz up 10.
Oh boy.
Bit of clear air.
This is good fun.
Yeah, he's out with a little bit of time to have a think about what he's going to do now.
Favell and Visma in pursuit, and they're having a good run. And Merritt's tagging on for the ride as well. So this is going to be where it gets interesting. And the stop time and the transit time, that could be what actually gets us to lap 17. So let's make a note of that as well, because it's only the pit stops have only been 6 and 7 seconds. So it's going to be touch and go when we get closer to the back end of the race, about the 22-minute mark. We're going to get an indication as to whether we're going to get that extra lap in or not, knowing that race pace is around about that 1 minute 30 bracket. 1 minute 31, 1 minute 32 at best. Now, if it's 31s and 32s, you're going to add somewhere in the vicinity of half a minute. Plus the opening lap adds another 8 seconds, and then the transit time. No, I'm going to back myself. I'm going to say that 16 will still be okay, which is 7 laps from here after they complete this 9th lap that they're on now. And 7 is 10.5 minutes plus some transit time down pit road. So, yeah, I'm going to stick with 16, but if we get to 17, it'll be by, 2 or 3 seconds, Grant. It'll be one of those touch and go ones.
Indeed.
Round they come again. Brendan Whitaker sitting there in 11th place. The field isn't cleansed. Top 7 yet to stop. Anthony Adsen up 11 spots. Phil King, Aiden Schultz up 10. But they've yet to pit. So we'll wait and see how it all plays out very shortly here on the platforms of the GSRC. Don't forget, Porsches from Hockenheim. Rare that we go to Hockenheim for single race mode. We're going there for 60 minutes very shortly. We normally associate that venue with sprint racing in the Porsche Cup, but not tonight. So the second and last 60-minute race of the season is coming your way. It's 8:45 Eastern Standard Time. So we continue on here, our penultimate Thursday of Term 2. Where the bloody hell did that season go? I mean, my goodness, we couldn't believe it, Grant and I, when we were comparing notes earlier and saying, hang on, we're up to week 9 already. That has gone by in the blink of an eye. Not to mention, of course, that we also had the Interclub Challenge in there, a couple of rounds of the Enduro Championship. Here comes Anthony Adsen to pit road, bringing in Phil King with him as well. And Brendan Griffiths has been there for 1 minute and 56 now. So I think Griffiths' night is done. John Merritt with the fastest lap of the race, 1:31.097. There you go. Hot lap, proving that the nickname is fitting of the great man at this point in time. 064 goes to the fastest lap of the night. Now, at the front of the field, it's Chapman and Favell. Isma and Johnny Merritt, of course, trying to latch on and go with them.
Chapman's had a
moment.
Can
they? We'll wait and see.
He's lost a second and a half to Favell. He must have gone a little bit deep there. Had a little bit too much time to think about it. And Johnny all over Visma.
Indeed he is.
Oh, he has a big dive.
Oh, Visma's wide. Visma leaves the door open and Merritt goes through.
It's like he knew it was going to happen. Like he knew it was going to happen. He said, I'll just throw this in here. And Visma must have gone, what the? And he's gone deep again. Those tyres and brakes must be getting way too hot. Johnny Merritt, and into the pits comes Favell from second. Sam Chapman now with 1.4 seconds lead over John Merritt, and just 5 of them now yet to pit. In fact, less than that as Visma and Favell come in. Brendan Whitaker still all over the back of Braden Sagassa, trying to force an error there as well. He tries to poke the nose in down the inside.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like the MX-5s, Greg. You get a good little kick of oversteer as you hit those curbs. It just pulls the car around and gives you a really good little bump if you're good at handling that sort of thing. Me, not so much.
No. There's Brendan Whitaker. He sits 8th at the moment. CW's behind him at the top of shot there.
This is
Look at the log jam here.
Yeah.
Favell, Lavis, Wood, Sagassa and Whitaker all fighting for 4th in the motor race.
Favell leading the race uncorrected. If
that's right.
He was right with
unless
Chapman.
Unless Merritt can overcome that somehow when he comes in to stop. Chapman's yet to stop, so too Aidan Schultz, Grant. So just trying to gauge all of that. Favell left it as late as lap 10, so too Anthony Visma and Anthony Adshead. But there's only 3 cars left to stop before the field will be cleansed, and Sagassa to the outside! Sagassa right on the outside of Nick Wood through turn 9. Can he put himself on the inside for 10? Yes, I think so. John Merritt going on for another lap. Sam Chapman to pit lane, and Aidan Schultz going on for another lap as well. To lap 12 they go. Meanwhile, we continue to watch this 6-car fight. Have a look at it. It's fantastic. Lavis is sitting there in 5th spot. Braden Sagassa. Oh, Whitaker, a beautiful move down on the inside on Nick Wood. Trying to go with Sagassa. Sagassa trying to latch back onto the train with Lavis. And out goes Sam Chapman. Can he get out in front of these blokes? I think he can. No. Favell's going to cover it off.
Swallowed up here.
Lavis. No, has to tuck in and follow through. So all of a sudden, Greg Favell's the big winner in all of that. Left it late, gains 4 spots, leads this train. Favell controls the race on corrected order until we see what Merritt and Schultz can produce. Merritt's going to be right in the thick of it, though. I just get the feeling the later these guys have left it, it's paid dividends. Favell and Chapman, 10 and 11 respectively, 3rd and 4th in the motor race outright at the moment, before we see what happens with Schultz and Merritt. So going later is working dividends right now. Still got to take the same amount of fuel to get them to the checkered flag.
Oh,
that hasn't varied. Oh, jeez.
Big lock up.
Under the pump, isn't he?
Oh, he is.
Two of our fellow broadcast producers going at it at the moment. How good's this?
John Merritt in.
That's not a surprise. And 12 seems to be that threshold. They're going to come back to the line. They're going to have, I reckon, let's wait and see. Favell will come across the line. I reckon it's going to be 4 at the post. Down the inside comes Lavis.
Oh, no, not so great.
No, not a good move. He locked it up. Chapman tried to turn it and he's gone. The two of them have come together and that was brewing. Down the main straight. Favell across the line with about 6 minutes and 4 seconds on the clock.
Favell's got him.
It's going to be touch and go.
Favell's got him.
Favell gets by Hot Lap, but I tell you what, Hot Lap's going to be right there. Those two have bolted. 2 seconds on Sagassa. Under pressure from Whitaker and Wood. Then, of course, Whitaker, Chapman, Muir, Lavis and Schultz. And unfortunately, yet again, luck and Adam Lavis aren't 2 words that you use in the same sentence.
Unless you prefix it with a bad.
Yeah, correct.
Here we go. This was a dive.
Oh,
Chapman went to the outside. Lavis went to the inside. Could not pull it up. Chapman thought he could. And that was all she wrote.
Unbelievable.
All right, now John's got to get by another of these little Clio Cups, and he's going to do his darndest. He might have better luck with Favell. Favell won't have that experience that Brendan did from the previous race, but Braden Sagassa 3rd, Brendan Whitaker 4th, Nick Wood 5th, Chris Whitaker 6th, and Sam Chapman back into 7th place.
3 laps to go at the line, if I've done my numbers right. And looking at the pace, 1:31.3. Oh, it's going to be so touch and go. It's not even funny. Keep that clock there for me for a moment, Grant. We'll add this up as they come back onto the main straight and across the line, because it's going to be on Greg Favell's throttle as to whether this goes. No, I think we're going to be okay. 4:33 at the line, 1:31 a lap. I'm happy with that. It's going to be bang on that 25-minute marker for 16 laps. So there you go. I think we're going to be okay. But as long as Barney's awake and doing his job, I think we're okay. Merritt, the fastest lap of the race, 1:31.097. Here comes Brendan having a look at Sagasta right now. Three-way fight for fifth, two-way fight for first. Merritt's right there with Favell. Chris Whittaker's gone. He's fallen off the train, but he's got a good enough buffer over Sam Chapman that he should be harmless and able to go about his business just quietly and calmly without any sort of intervention and interference for the rest of the night.
Nail it. They don't want to put that on the back of your car.
No. Unless it's the coffin. Nail the coffin. I don't know. Brad reckons he's driving like a grandma. I don't know who he's talking about.
There we go. Seen that before.
With another big... with another big send. Is Brad talking about Chris? I'm not sure. We'll find out. Down the back straight we go. Merritt with the big send. Didn't pull it off that time round. And Favell defends. Yes, he was. Defends to the outside to turn 11. Through back onto the main straight. Jeez. Favell defending Merritt, but for how much longer? Favell, of course, new to the club. Merritt, an experienced old hand. 2:56 on the clock. 2 laps to go around the famous vanilla clothesline, as they call it.
Oh, Nick Wood through on Sagasta. And
Nick Wood to third, to the bottom step of the podium. Brendan trying to go with him as well. No, Braden Sagasta still there on the outside, muscled out. And CW trying to go with him and get 6th spot him. In fact, if these three keep squabbling, CW is all of a sudden going to be back into it.
Tell you what, the boys are on fire on the socials.
Almost out. Brendan Whittaker sending Braden Sagasta real wide through turn 5. And CW's back there. Nick Wood under pressure again from Brendan Whittaker. Right. I'm going to have to set the camera up, aren't I? Last lap, Zach's going to get another run here. I wasn't expecting it. I wasn't anticipating it. Let's go. Oh, dear. Fantastic stuff. And I didn't have a shave today either. Now, Brendan Whittaker holding on to 4th place. It's a 4-way fight for 3rd, the last spot on the podium. We've got Greg Favell and John Hotlap Merritt duking it out at the top end of town. Here we go. 1 lap to go at Winton. Can Greg Favell hold on and get his first win as a GSRC member? Or can John Merritt just hit the ground running and pick up where he left off last time we saw him? It's been a while between drinks for Hotlap. Through turn 2 they go. The battle for 3rd. I don't know where to look, Grant. We need the Channel 7 Mega Wall. What's going on here?
Oh, dive down the inside.
With the big send at turn 3. John Merritt with the big send. Get the elbows out and get by Greg Favell. Now if Favell can hold it there on the exit of 4, which he can, he'll have to tuck back in. I thought he might have been able to have a run at it through turn 5. But if you're John Merritt, you do not want to give Favell even the slightest bit of a sniff. He's to the outside at turn 6. Merritt will drive defensively down the inside of the racetrack to turn 7, then maneuver it across to the inside for turn 8. Beautifully done, beautifully executed racecraft defense 101 from Hotlap. Favell with a little bit of a better run off turn 8. Brendan Whittaker goes to 3rd. Braden Sagasta's up on the outside of Nick Wood. That's for 4th in the motor race. Merritt still holding on. At the top end of town. They're coming to the checkered flag. Favell to the outside. Favell to the outside. Favell to the outside. They're side by side. But have a look at this. Merritt to the inside at 12. Favell's still there. Side by side drag race. Photo finish. The run clears. Delivered Winton. And Favell gets the job done in a time. Can you believe that? 0.03 of a second. It doesn't get any better on a Thursday night than that. Greg Favell, new to the club, first race win. How about that? Brendan Whittaker got 3rd. Braden Sagasta, Chris Whittaker, Nick Wood, Sam Chapman, Sam Muir finished with the fastest lap of the race, 1 minute 30.97. Adam Lavis got back for 9th. And Schultze being the Chris Whittaker impersonator or Brendan Whittaker impersonator in the second Mario livery of the night. He held on for 10th. Oh my goodness me. How about that?
Oh
Does it get any better?
Indeed.
The Renaults, we weren't expecting anything that entertaining, Grant. It's something about this production car format that just keeps everybody on the edge of their seat. That was fantastic.
It was indeed. My goodness me. Take a breath, Zach. Have a little sit down. That was awesome coverage and incredible racing. And we've seen how hard it is to get just alongside another car here and try and make it stick. Good luck with that.
Stephen Brendan Whittaker got the podium. Oh, Brendan Whittaker got to 3rd. Bryden Sagasa, Chris Whittaker, Nick Wood, Sam Chapman. But have a look at this again from John Merritt. The big send at turn 3. Unbelievable.
So clean.
And then, practically, they were glued to one another for the rest of the lap. And incredible to think that Greg Favell committed to the outside line through 10, 11, and then 12, and somehow got the job done. It's very rare that you see John Merritt lose in a 2-horse race like that. We associate him with holding on in those tight scenarios in Formula V, but something about the Renault Clio, yeah, sure, he's hit the ground running and picked up where he left off. That's 2 seconds tonight for John Merritt. It's he'll be disappointed that he got pipped by 0.03 of a second. Unbelievable. Yes, I will send you the video on that one, Grant. My goodness me. And I apologize. Look, at this point in time, I'll just apologise to all the residents of the house upstairs, the residents of Langridge Street Raceview, where the broadcast is being called from tonight, because they've just been woken from the dead.
And all the dogs in the area.
No, they can get stuffed. They wake me up when I'm trying to sleep. Now I can return the favour. How about that for a margin, though? 0.03 of a second. Our first photo finish in these production cars. And the best. They might be, in CW's opinion, the worst car we've ever seen. But they have produced the best finish of the season. Magnificent. How about that? Sorry. I didn't realise you were doing sound effects for us now, Grant. No, that was CW. We brought him into the booth. Yes, already making his presence known. Just remember, CW, at this point in time, that it is a family-friendly time slot, so I need you to keep a lid on it. But I'm looking forward to taking a break at intermission. There's no. Right, let's straighten up and get stuck into this. Hey, Ryan Tegel, well done.
No.
That's no.
Well done.
Well done for at least turning up to have a chat to me post-race, because
that was the idea.
Anyone that had the run that you had tonight probably wouldn't have.
Basically all I've jumped on is just to apologise to any racer that was towards the back of the field that I took out, and it was just a mess. It was just, I had 2 weeks off and I thought, oh yeah, going to be ready to go. And then, no, and then I'm just battling it out and just absolutely causing chaos. So I'm just going to apologise to everyone because that was just gross.
Actually, I think there's apologies going around left, right and centre tonight, but not from the commentary box. We've enjoyed every second of it. Ryan, that being said, yeah, we haven't seen you for a couple of weeks, mate. It is nice to see you back. But obviously, I get the feeling that you're going to agree and concur with everything that CW says about this car and this track.
Yep. As well, yep, in 100% agreement. This car can go, and it can go away. It can go away. Is what it can go. And this track as well. Actually, this track can go away as well.
Oh, brilliant! I love it.
If only you could sell some of these assets back to iRacing and say thanks very much.
Yeah,
thanks, but
if they don't have some sort of try before you buy or renting system, maybe because they know that we'll all give it back.
Maybe a trade in return for iRacing credits or something. I don't know.
iRacing Gumtree.
But at least it was entertaining, so I'm glad you had a bit of fun.
Well, yeah, it was certainly entertaining for us, 100% for us, but looked like it was pure hell and frustration for so many of you out there. And actually, when you think about it, Grant, you just replayed the defining moment, didn't you? That little moment where John Merritt lost a couple of seconds because he ran wide at 10, or at 11, I should say.
Yep.
That's the race right there. In the greater scheme of things, when you reflect on it, when you look at the margins, and you notice that it was only 0.03 of a second, he lost more than that in that incident right there.
And I think it was the next lap.
Science.
It was the next lap where, just to here, he went out my inside, and oh no, that wasn't it. I'm thinking of something else. I was just all over the shop.
Well, I was going to say, you did lose your front end at one point.
I did.
Yes.
Oh, that explains why I lost so much straight line speed. I was like trying to figure out why I'm so slow.
Yeah, no. We saw the front panels depart and part company with the car and head into the gravel trap at turn 3 there. I'm not sure who you got into the side of, but I'm sure they'll appreciate the paint job that you've given the left-hand side of their car, or the right-hand side of their car, I should say.
I've given.
It was Dale Sharp. It was Dale Sharp, wasn't it?
This is this issue. Yeah, I owe Brendan. I think it was Brendan an apology. He ran off there, and then I thought, I could sneak in through on the pit lane. Okay. And then we've turned the 1 lane into a 2 lane, and then it's just ended badly.
Oh, and then there was this incident as well. You had 2 incidents. Yeah.
And then he hit with the wall, and I kept going.
Oh, brilliant. All right. Hopefully you've got better thoughts on the Toyota 86 in Sandown next week.
Yes, I do, and I still haven't I've missed every 86 race, so I'd love to have a crack at it. So hopefully I'll be here next week for that.
Ryan, can I just say, mate, as I said at the top, there aren't too many people that would front up for a chat post-race on the back of results of 14th and 17th and just pure frustration at your end. But we do appreciate you being a good sport. It's not the sort of night that we normally associate with you results-wise. So we are looking forward to next week all the same. But if we see the production cars back on the schedule next season, I take it that as a vote of confidence from the drivers, the Renault Clio might not be part of that.
Yeah, if we have anything to say about it, they will not be part of it, hopefully. Oh, that was just gross. But anyway, you got to take the good with the bad, I guess. So you got to be, that's the whole point. You got to be good at all of them. So I guess it's just not for me. But anyway, see you next time.
14th and 17th. Thanks for that, mate. Nothing to write home about, but certainly memorable. Go and enjoy the rest of your night. Thanks for that.
I will do, you too.
Brilliant. Hey, speaking of not memorable, I mentioned it there earlier, Grant. We haven't got Adam Lavis at the moment to hold up his end of the argument, but something about our producers, our fellow broadcast personnel getting into the side of one another tonight. Sam Chapman, explain it, please.
Yes, we had quite a ding-dong battle there. I think we came in on the same amount of points as well. So it's a real battle between us two at this point. I think it was following very closely. I think he probably had a little bit of pace on me and sort of a few nudges. Decided to sort of come in here, locked up, and that was that, unfortunately. Can't blame too much. You've got to take the opportunities where they come, but it was unfortunate. I was on a 0x before that as well. I think we were in second place. So it's what it is. There's been a couple of times where I've ruined his race this season, to be honest, as well. So it's a bit of tit for tat, really.
Fair enough. This circuit, did you like it? Are you happy with what you've produced tonight? I mean, it was what was it? You started on pole for that second race, and you went back 6 spots. So you finished 10th, and at least you've moved your way forward, even if it is by help of the invert. So a 10th and a 7th. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I was stoked to get to the 10th. That was awesome, just because there was a little bit of back and forth throughout the race. Fighting with Chris, who. Yeah, for some reason, I don't know what happened, Chris, because I'm not usually fighting for you for 10th.
We'll get to him in a moment.
While I put you all on a 7-second delay.
Yeah, I'm staring it up here.
Don't poke the
went off in the final race. So in the final lap of that, I was in 11th, and then that put me on the pole. Nick obviously got a ripper start, but then went off a few laps in, and. Yeah, and Greg got me. So, I mean, the car, the track, like, I mean, you have picked some fairly, low rating cars and tracks to combine together.
Hey,
and it
careful
was,
with your use of you have picked.
Yeah,
We
that's
had
right.
nothing to do with it.
I had nothing to do with it.
Oh, okay,
No,
yeah.
guilty, Your Honour.
Yeah, fair enough. I can't see it coming back up again. It was just very odd because the usual suspects, just didn't have pace, and actually the field out there today, while small, was actually quite close together in many respects on pace. So you had the guys up the back who, are usually really quick, not being able to make their way through because you can't really overtake round here without a pretty good reason.
Actually, you made a very good point there, and it's something I mentioned in the commentary. In the first race, because it was on qualifying pace, whilst overtaking opportunities weren't as frivolous as they would be in say, a Formula V race, they were certainly there. The second race, a lot harder because we inverted the field, and if you've got one of the not as fast cars at the front of the field, it becomes a conga line, doesn't it?
Yeah, and that was me. So, it does become a bit of a conga line. I saw there was a great battle ahead of me in those final laps there. That I just couldn't quite get up to. So you can do it, but it's hard work. And around Winton, if you do get a nose up, then the next corner is usually going the wrong way for you to get the deal done, and vice versa, right? So you can do it if you work hard and you've got a bit of pace, but it's pretty difficult to set up.
Yeah, we saw exactly that with John Merritt and Greg Favell, and John would get the nose in, and he'd do exactly what you said. He'd get right alongside all the way up to the next corner when he was on the outside. So we were treated to absolute spectacle between those two boys, and it was good fun.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's just I think as well, people. Gee, 3 wide through there. Okay, I don't think everyone has a huge amount of confidence in the car as well. You've got to drive it quite differently to anything else, I find. It's Ryan was explaining there's sort of 3 stages. You sort of got to brake, and then you take off the brake, and then you turn, and then it's not linear in the same way you'd find often driving a car. And if you push it too hard, then the back sort of goes, and it just loses you time more than anything else. It is a bit odd.
Yes, well, that might be one of the few occasions we see the Clio Cup and GRSC on the schedule together. So we'll see. It's been a fantastic series, though, with the production cars, a change of car from week to week. So I'm certainly hoping that'll continue into next season.
Oh, absolutely. It's been great fun this season, and I really like the way to do it. These are the sort of, production cars in general, the sort of cars I like racing. So, maybe you can throw in a GT4, or if they come out with something else, I don't know. They seem to be coming out with a lot of cars at the moment, so maybe they do.
There's still the Cadillac. There's a few others as well. We could always throw some of the WRX cars on the concrete as well. So you never know.
Just having a look here, too, boys. We've got 17 minutes. I've got Greg Favell, John Merritt, and Chris Whitaker standing by. I'm leaving CW as late as I can for the sake of any pretty language that might come our way. Looking forward to having a chat with Greg and John in just a moment. Chapo, before we let you go, though, thoughts on what's going to be a big grand final week and the 86s at Sandown on the Thursday night in the production car slot and everything else we've got coming up?
Well, I think that's going to be a more popular combination, let's say. So,
wouldn't be hard.
It wouldn't be hard, but I'd say it'd be a very popular combination. So the 86s were really popular last season. They're a great little car, so I'd expect to see a lot out at that. As we know, so and next week grand finale week. So big grand finale for that. There'll be 4 days of broadcast next week, actually, in total, because we got Baptist for the Enduro as well.
Yeah, on the Sunday. So we've got a broadcast on Tuesday night as well, do we?
We do. I've got to work drinks beforehand, so it could be a bit how you going, but we'll do our best. But Monday, the GT4s, GT3s, and then of course Sunday with this. Yep, Sunday with this.
GSRC GT3 Endurance Championship brought to you by Login Systems this season. We need to update that logo, but that's another story. 8 hours around Mount Panorama, 2/3 Bathurst 12-hour distance just for the last Sunday of June. How good's that going to be? Make sure you join the broadcast for that. Right, and join the crew and the platforms of the GSRC for a big final day there. I know they're not doing the whole 8 hours. No one would ask them to. No one would expect them to. But yes, they will be on air next Sunday in 2 or 3 different brackets. Now,
that's after the finish.
That is after. Oh, thank God. Because I tell you what, there was enough of that argy-bargy stuff going on in the bloody thing. Right, let's say goodbye to you, Sam Chapman. Thank you, mate. Appreciate that. Look forward to catching up with you next week.
Thank you.
Let's move to Greg Favell and John Merritt at this point in time. Greg, welcome to the club, firstly. We noticed a new name on the grid on Monday night, and you hit the ground running in GT4, and 3 nights later, here you are in victory lane, mate, by the barest of margins. Well done.
Oh, that was unbelievable. That was great driving there, John. Love it when you can race side by side like that. And I was a bit concerned coming into these races. I wanted to try everything out this week so we can see what we want to do next season, but don't want to interfere with the championship either. So that first heat there, I thought I'd just sit behind and see how everyone goes. And then, yeah, it all started to work out for that second race. And great battle at the end.
A 4th and a 1st, and obviously 2 seconds for John. So, I mean, he comes hot lap, back from the wilderness, back from hibernation, and all of a sudden, straight to the top of the summit again. Are we surprised? No. He was Matty Dench before Matty Dench come along. In saying all of that, Greg, welcome to the club, firstly. And secondly, are you a fan of the Renault Clio, and are you a fan of Winton? Because the results would certainly suggest that you are.
I bought the Renault yesterday. I spent most of the day painting it. I think I did 20 minutes practice at the end of the night. And then, yeah, it was just a bit of practice tonight. And then I actually got in. I watched one of the quick guys, how he was driving it, and on board for a lap, and then tried to adapt to that, and worked out.
Clearly, you spent some time at the Brenton Hobson School of Radio Commentary. Yes, exactly.
I can sense one CW is biting his tongue firmly right now as well, knowing that someone's just come in and got to grips with this one in about 20 minutes, and he's absolutely detesting the thing. We'll get to Chris in just a moment. Hey, Greg, well done, magnificent result, mate. So now that obviously you're new to the club, you're dipping your toes in the water and testing everything out. What's taking your fancy? What are you enjoying most?
I've enjoyed everything I've done this week. Every event we can do, me and my teammate have been doing. Formula Fords last night, the GT3s, I've started to become a fan of those. Absolutely love the GT4s around Oran Park. That was hard work, but loved it. And I've done a lot of V8 racing, but not much of anything else, so I'd like to try my hand at a bit something else, so...
Yeah, versatility serves you well in this club, but be warned, it does become a very expensive and addictive sort of drug and habit. So just look at Grant and I, we're here for season 13. So in saying all that, mate, well done. Magnificent result. Great to catch up. Welcome to the club. Welcome to Victory Lane. There aren't too many people that have waltzed to the club and gone straight to the top of the summit as quickly as you have. So you're in some pretty esteemed and elite company there. And obviously, we're looking forward to seeing you in the Toyota 86s next week at Sandown, and probably the GT4s there on Monday night as well.
Yeah, and the GT3s. We'll give it all a crack and set ourselves up for next season.
Excellent.
Exactly the way to do it, isn't it, Grant? Because at the end of the day, if you're going to waltz in partway through a season, you can certainly, be a race contender, as Greg has proven. You're not going to factor in the championship, but then you can just chip away at it and get some mileage and get some confidence and go full tilt next season. So I'm already looking forward to seeing what Greg's going to bring to the table.
Oh, too right.
Yeah, and I just got to be mindful that other guys are in the championship battle, so I'll just... Yeah,
that's all right. They kind of looked after themselves a bit tonight.
They did.
Didn't worry you too much up with those third couple. But
when I seen John come out of the pits, I hadn't seen John's times on my time boards, and it's like next thing he's all over me. I'm like, where's this guy come from?
Well, I think John was still getting the dealer stickers off the car. He probably bought it even later than you, but. We got to move on, I think, a little bit, Zach. We've got...
we do. We've got 2 to get to.
Yep, so we'll get to
it. And
good on you, Greg.
And we've got... Greg, thanks, mate. Well done. Congratulations. Looking forward to catching up next week, mate.
All right, thanks, fellas.
Yeah, and one I'm looking forward to in particular as well. But firstly, John Merritt, welcome back to you. If we can take a shot of John's car there, please, Grant, just for a moment. A little bit more blue than we'd probably associate with you. So is this just strictly off the showroom floor, arrive and drive?
Yeah, thanks, Zach. This was straight off the showroom. I think I set a record 8 minutes before the server fully opened. So
I think I can still see the fuel economy sticker in the bottom corner there.
yeah, the CO2 emissions are running well.
That's it.
Oh, brilliant. Hey, Hot Lab, great to have you back, firstly, mate. Secondly, we're not even in the slightest bit surprised that you've just hit the ground running in this thing. But thirdly, what have you been up to, and what did you make of the night that was at Winton?
Yeah, mate, the Renaults are pretty good fun, and I always enjoy Winton. You know, it's quite technical and short little track, but you know, with I think Brendan in race 1, that was a great battle, and also Greg. You know, congratulations to Greg. That was fantastic. So.
Well, it was surprising in many respects, because how many times have you seen the guy in the non-defensive position come up trumps? I mean, you did everything right in terms of putting the car in the right place, making it as difficult for him as possible, but by the barest of margins, he's had just a little bit more grunt going, and he's been able to pip you by the barest of margins.
Oh, I think I'll call it rusty, but I think I was pretty generous on the last 2 corners. So, but all credit, he put the car where it needed to be, and just carried a bit more throttle in that last corner, I think. So, but fantastic fun. These are a good little machine.
I was wondering, John, if you've come back to the sim because it's the warmest room in the house at the moment. It's probably a little bit chilly down there at Echuca, isn't it?
It's been a little chilly. It's been a little icy, but I must say I've been in the other side of the world in some heat for a little bit.
Oh, there you go. Oh, that explains the absence. That's right. Yes, a little bit of overseas travel. Remember what that was all about? Yes.
Oh, it's nice to be back to a little bit, but
absolutely.
I must say at the end of that race, I actually had the aircon on, so I was getting a sweat going.
Oh, good man. Good,
very nice
to have you back.
Well, firstly, yeah, I'll echo what Grant said, and I don't think anyone that's watching at home will disagree with us either. You are a club stalwart. So, but the second thing, with regards to this one, both you and Greg went later with your pit stops, and in the end, that strategy worked. Normally the undercut works, but tonight the overcut was, given how backed up the field was following Nick and Sam around at the front there at the start of that second race. I don't think I'm terribly surprised that the overcut worked on this occasion. You got a little bit of clear air, you ran with it, and you used it to your advantage.
Yeah, I needed to get a little bit of track position back, and I think I almost went when Brendan or Chris went, but I sort of hung in there. We're not going to take tyres. There was no advantage to that, so it turned out to be the right strategy, I think.
All right, mate. Running short for time here because the Porsches are standing by at 8:45, and Grant's going to obviously fade over to that now, folks. So stay with us, even though we're on the intermission screen, if you like. We are continuing our post-race show here after a very entertaining Renault Clio outing at Winton. So, John, now that the overseas travel is done with for the moment, do we see you back on a more regular basis, mate? What's going on?
Oh, mate, time permitting, yeah. I always love to jump on when I can. There's sort of been some clashes with some other series stuff I've done, and so I've sort of and some other commitments. But whenever I can get in, I'll definitely jump in. I enjoyed the Fords a couple of times through the season, and when I could have a run. So, mate, 13 seasons. You guys need to be congratulated as well.
I was going to say, Grant and I were both having a look at it earlier in the piece and weighing up how many more seasons have we got in us, because it does take a bit out of you after a while. But we'll go around for season 14 and probably 15 as well, coming up July 10. That all gets underway, of course. John, great to catch up with you, mate. Thank you for that. All the best for the rest of the night and the rest of the season, mate, and we'll check in soon.
Pleasure. Good to chat. Cheers, guys.
Good on you, John. Straight
back into the production cars and round winner by my numbers, Grant, with 2 seconds. That trumps a fourth and a first as far as I'm mathematically speaking. I think I'm right in saying. So, John Merritt, round winner tonight in the Renault Clios, 8 minutes before qualifying. He picked the thing up. So, Chris Whittaker, let's get you in here as the championship leader. You came in with a 42-point advantage, and you probably needed every one of the 42.
May I be the first to say...
Probably not the first, but appreciate your efforts there.
And that was just lap one.
Of practice.
Man, exactly right.
No. Okay, so let's pick it all apart. Qualified 11th, finished race 1 11th, but you were on track for a far better result until family matters got in the way.
It's quite funny, actually. We were saying during practice, whose turn is it to take who out this week? And I said, I bet you Anthony ends up taking me out. He was already quicker. I didn't really get much practice in this week, but as I've seen with Greg and John, perhaps practice doesn't really matter. But it's that's awesome. That was seriously cool. Those two guys we expect it from Johnny any week anyway. But
that's right, exactly.
But that's a bit of a welcome to the party from Greg. That's pretty cool. So
yep.
But I just couldn't click. Just could not click with it. Quali was that was nearly everything that I had. Practice, I had no pace. It was just trying to survive. So stay in the tow as much as I could, and try to use everyone else to keep me in the battle. And obviously Anthony had a little boo boo there, but whatever it is, that is what it is, as they say. But I saw him coming, and I thought he was going to get it pulled up still, to be honest. But just pinched the brake, and we saw what happened with Adam as well. Second, lock the wheels, and these things, they just keep skating.
100%. There was a lot of tyre locking going on tonight. That's just a trait of the car. But in saying all that, though, on the subject of family matters, who adopted Aiden Schultz at the Team Whittaker stable tonight? Because he was also running a Mario livery.
Yeah, exactly right. I don't know, maybe he's wanting an invite or something. Invite into the Discord server. Reese wasn't here tonight, so we had a spare spot. So I'm not surprised Reese wasn't here either. We know what he thinks of front-wheel drive cars, and I reckon a half a lap in this bucket of bolts around that track. Bring me that bloody FG Falcon any day of the week. I hated it.
And we know how you were a big fan of that too.
Exactly, mate. We finished the race. I said I hated every minute of that race. Like both of the races, I've not disliked iRacing that much ever before. That was just disgusting.
No.
But others enjoyed it, so I don't know. Maybe it's obviously a bit under the weather, as you can hear at the moment, but. I just had to try to consolidate what I could, because I've made a little boo-boo, and someone's actually not going to be here next week. Speaking of overseas affairs, I'm off to Fiji, so so
all of a sudden you're going to surrender the championship. Is that what you're telling me?
I think by points, I reckon I'm pretty sure I've got a drop round in hand, so I think I'll have probably another 30 or so points to add to the total. So it should hopefully keep us safe, but I'll be tuning in with a mojito in hand and cheering everyone on to, I don't know, maybe I need to slip Anthony $20 and
tell him square up with Brendan as well, maybe
next week or something, maybe.
And that's a shame too, because you don't mind the Toyota 86s, and we all love Sandown.
Yeah, it's an awesome combo.
Despite the fact that you have very fond memories of Sandown, in a matter of sarcasm, with regards to a TCR visit there as well.
Exactly. I tried to forget that one, mate. But it's an awesome combo. The 86s around Sandown. It'll be a big feel. I'm expecting 35 plus for that one. So look, with tonight, I'm probably more disappointed that Anthony didn't convert his top 10 in the first race at long last. Again, he's on. Just keep it together, son. And then, just start to fall apart a little bit. But it'll happen. He's got his eyes on for next week. That's his target. So I'll be cheering the young fella on.
I guess that was the only consolation, though, mate, is that you were able to move forward in race 2 and salvage something of a result.
Oh yeah, through no through fault of everyone else. No work from my perspective. All I did was manage to keep it on the track for the most part, apart from when I tried to go in the pits and threw it into the grass. So it was just nothing was working for me tonight. But we've salvaged some points. Hopefully, it's enough to secure the championship. And wherever we land is where we land, I guess.
I'm running out of time here, mate, so I'll have a talk to you offline. Obviously, we wish you well for safe travels to Fiji, and we'll be touching base with you next season, I hope, whatever is dished up on a Monday night or a Thursday night. We're looking forward to it. We won't know what the makeup of the calendar is until probably the second week of holidays, which is the first week of July. And I know there's some real world stuff coming up as well in the motorsport sense, not the holiday sense. So enjoy all of that, and thanks for being a good sport and coming and having a chat to us, even on a frustrating night where your two pet hates, be it Winton and the Renault Clio, combined for pure hell for you.
Yeah, no, thanks, mate. I will just, Grant actually said exactly what I was going to say earlier, so I'll just elaborate on, trying to get your money back out of iRacing.
No, okay.
I'm just happy to give away a Renault. If anyone wants my Renault subscription, they can have it. I'll pay someone to take it. Despise that car. If it comes back, you know what my 2 drop rounds are going to be next season.
Exactly. I think we've already worked it out. Good on you, mate. Thank you.
Good on you.
Thanks, lads.
Get that up.
Brilliant. I knew it was going to be good. I didn't know it was going to be that good. All right, let's quickly turn our attention around on One Mate Thursday on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club from the 50-50 love-hate Renault Clio to one of our favourites on the platforms of the GSRC, the Blackout Electrical Solutions Porsche Cup, and the penultimate round. And what a tantalising prospect it is in both championships here, as we welcome you to the Hockenheim Ring in Germany for a 60-minute outing here. And everything to play for. 5 points the advantage at the top of the championship in both the open split and the elite split. Matty Dench and Corey Lazarus. And at the moment, the way things are shaping up here, it's Denchi with the advantage in qualifying, but it's never as straightforward as that, as this championship has proven thus far. The two championship combatants, and rightly so, will share the front row, which is great to see. It's a great prospect for the rest of us. Denchi leads the points, 373 plays, Lazarus 368, 290 for Kai Harley, 279 for Shane Wright, 269 for Sam Sproul. Alex Schmidt and Brett Barker on 247, 240 for Andrew Smith, Guy Leach on 215, and Gordon Ramsay 213. So there's a couple of little battles there to keep an eye on. Wright and Sproul for 4th, and even Kai Harley's not beyond their reach. But it is a 2-horse race at the top end of town, we would suspect. And the other one that I want to have a look at there too, Grant, is the 247 and 240s there, the 3 cars in the elite split there, Schmidt, Barker and Smith. They're locked for 6th and 7th at the moment. They're going to duke it out for the minor placings in the top 10, and of course Leach and Ramsey too. Right, to the open split we go. Again, 5 points. Paul Wilson and Jeff Adams. How good is this? Then Adam Lavis on 308 with a good little buffer over Richard King, 283. Very good buffer over Stephen Gallagher, 226 rather for Callum Heinrich. Fan Wong on 219, only 9 points clear of Sean Rees. 17 then back to Kurt Chapman, and Joe Baldwin only 4 away there in 10th place. There is a field of 33 lining up tonight. Cannot wait to see how this all plays out, although I'm just having a look through. I don't think Trucker's on the grid, so that's a little bit disappointing for him, given where he is in that title fight in the open split. He has, positional battles to play for there. So it might be a drop round for Trucker, but the great man, the 88, B. Hobson, is in the house after a wretched run at Long Beach last week. Let's see if it's 3rd or 4th time lucky for Hobbo.
Yes, indeed. And Joe's not got any points to drop. He's already had all his points used up, so that'll be of no benefit to him. And it is not 90 minutes. For some reason, I saw that when I was setting this up. So let me,
it is 60. Can we adjust that?
I was thinking it was going to be a very late night tonight. And,
it still is. It still is, but it's only 60 minutes, not 90. Although that being said, isn't it funny how 60 minutes television show is now starting to go for 65 or 70? I'm not sure what that's all about.
So you don't catch the start of the other channel that you're not watching. So once you're in, you're always in.
Exactly. Right.
Let's see what happens to our mate Matty Dench tonight. See if it's all back to business as usual.
Actually, hang on. Let's just have a look here, Grant. I think this isn't Monday night yet. We're lining up for a rolling start. Someone's going to have to explain that one to me. We normally have standing starts in the Porsches, but we're lining up for a rolling start here.
Yeah, maybe they do that for
just
enduros.
to throw a spanner in the works. No. That is bemusing as far as I'm concerned. Look at that. Yeah,
David
a
Dench.
rolling start here. I know. We had a rolling start. No, we didn't even have a rolling start at Le Mans, did we? We did not. I don't think we even had a rolling start at Le Mans, and we had cars backed up around the last corner, hopping over the ripple strips and so on. So this is rare air for the Porsches. Anyway, there's the track and weather information for you. June 15, 2023, 40 degrees on track, 74% humidity, 25 degrees, a nice summer afternoon in Germany. And look at that, 4 o'clock in the afternoon in broad daylight. We won't have a concern with light when we get beyond 6 o'clock tonight. You know why? Germany observes daylight saving. There's your bingo card, full grant. Matty Dench, and although that being said, I could get stuck into the Queensland budget that was released earlier this week, but we haven't got enough time. No. And there's politics picked off your bingo card as well. Chris Whitaker's still got a few. Matty Dench, Corey Lazarus the front row, and he's still here too, by the way. Shane Wright, Ben Pedersen the second row, Brenton Hobbs and Magnus Roney the third, Andrew Smith, Samuel Squirrell the fourth, Sam Muir and Brett Barker the fifth. As the safety car starts to move off, Dane Snudd and Matt Stewart from 6, Richard King, Gordon Ramsay from 7, Jake Jackson, Guy Leach from 8, Alex Schmidt and Paul Wilson from 9, Jeff Adams and Jonathan Hooper from 10. From 11, Michael Schroeder and Stephen Gallacher, Chuk Van Wong and Nick Wood from 12, Adam Lavis and Matty Brunt from 13, Dale Sharp, Callum Heinrich from 14, Kurt Chapman and Eduardo Zamora from 15. And then we go back to Jared Gilbert and Aidan Schultz and Brendan Griffiths. Matty Brunt has not taken the start. So 32 cars lining up for the penultimate one of the season here on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club and the Blackout Electrical Solutions Porsche Cup Race 12 at 15 of the campaign. And Dench has put the foot down immediately. Catch me if you can. We're up and racing in Germany. Great start from Matty Dench. Covers off Corey Lazarus and Ben Pedersen to turn 1. Pedersen, of course, fresh off the win at Long Beach last week in that second race. That invert race, and have a look at the elbows and gloves off and out early in the piece here. Hobson trying to get down on the inside and defend Roney. Smith and Sproul and Muir and Barker tucked in as well as they head down towards the hairpin for the first time. 1 hour on the clock here, and a big night ahead with everything to play for in the 2 championships. 3 wide if you don't mind. Smith and Roney. Smith going for 2 for the price of 1. Thanks for coming. Opened the door, elbowed Hobbo, and then got taken away again by Roney. So Smith gains 1, Roney gains 1, and Hobbo loses 2. A little bit dirty further back in the pack. Hobbo a lock up. Oh, there they go. It's and Hobbo coming together. And both sacrificing themselves. And thankfully that wasn't a lot bigger. And Hobbo's now locked it up properly. Hobbo out of business early in the piece here at the Hockenheim ring. Down to 31st he goes. He might be on the tow rope already. He'll get back on the racetrack, but it's going to be a long way back for one of the stalwarts of this club. Through we go. Matty Dench the leader and already 0.87 of a second clear. Oh, Corey Lazarus has fallen back to 4th. While we've been looking at all the other garbage, Corey Lazarus has dropped back to 4th. In behind Shane Wright and Ben Pedersen. Pedersen is second across the line at the end of the opening lap. But the horse has already bolted. Dench has taken off. 1:44.511, the fastest lap on the opening lap. And already 1 second down the road. So definitely a case of catch me if you can. And after a frustrating couple of weeks in this caper for the great man, Grant Gill, you've just got a sense that it's a case of sending a message and making a statement tonight ahead of the grand finale next week.
Yep. Let's have a look if we can see what happened to Lazarus here. So just doing a little switch back there. He's locked something up. Maybe a slowdown. That looks suspiciously slowdown-ish.
Yeah, that's a fair call.
He's stuck to the inside of the track. He's just let the boys through. So I'd say that's what's happened there.
So Lazarus will be playing catch up for the rest of the night, and those slowdowns are they're crucifiable around here, aren't they? Because they, especially when they pop up on the fastest part of the racetrack, and you're trying to get rid of it before you get penalised, but you lose so much speed and so much momentum in the process. Guy Leach.
Oh, around he goes. Sorry, Guy.
Leach is gone. Uh-oh. They'll go left, they'll go right, they'll do everything they can to avoid it, but there's going to be trouble there on the rejoin. There'll be trouble on the rejoin. Yep, bang. They're all gone, and Adam Lavis is caught up in the garbage again.
Pedersen's got by right.
So Pedersen to second. He was second at the end of the first lap, so that's no change there. Wright is third, Lazarus fourth, Roney, Sproul, Muir, Smith, Snadden, and Barker now make up the top 10. So Smith lost one spot in amongst all that biffo with Hobbo, and Hobbo's dropped down to 31st, and Hobbo is parked up and is done for the night. So for all the frustration, CW is still in the booth. I'm not sure if he's still at the sim rig and listening in, or whether he's taken off and just not let himself out of the room. But for all the frustration that CW endured at Winton, Hobbo's endured it at Hockenheim.
Yeah, it's still here, boys. It's still here.
There he is.
I figured this was going to be a pretty wild start to the race, and it's living up to expectations, isn't it?
Absolutely. That's just Hockenheim, though, isn't it? And it's weird because obviously you raced the TCR here earlier in the year, so you know this track and you know what it's all about. And it's very rare that we come here in enduro mode, in a matter of speaking. Normally it's sprint mode, and here's the garbage that unfolded. Yeah. That was never going to end well, unfortunately, when the car's rejoining the racetrack on the inside there. And it's a bit of a blind spot because you're so far over on the left-hand side of the racetrack that you're coming in to take all the curb on the right. And, trouble ensued. No, it's one of those circuits. It'll either throw up a classic or a dud. It's throwing up some good racing thus far, but they've actually got time to ease into it, and it's as though they've missed the memo on that because we're so often associated with a 16-minute race and then a 27-minute race. This is 60 minutes. They can attack it a little bit differently, can't they? If they please.
Yes, they certainly can. Because strategy...
Well, I was glad one of you answered the question. Yeah.
I was just leaving a little bit of space for Chris. But,
I was having a coughing fit, so it wasn't a good time to try answer then. It would have blown everyone's speakers.
Copy that.
It's not the spicy cough there, is it, Chris?
No, it's just a bit of man flu. That's all. Yeah.
Can you believe we're still talking about the spicy cough after 3 years? I mean,
it's still around. It didn't go away.
No.
Great battle between Muir and Smith here, though, and further back we've got Nick Wood, Michael Schroeder, Jared Gilbert, Guy Leach, and Kurt Chapman all in this pack of very, very tight races.
And nice to see Michael Schroeder back on the grid as well. So in the meantime, actually, it's important to note there are 3 cars: Schroeder, Eduardo Zamora, Brendan Griffiths, all with the red box next to their name tonight. That means they aren't classified, which means they've either not made a start on the Porsches before or they haven't been classified as yet.
That's Sam Sproul, one of our highly credentialed drivers having an incident. Now this is live. The Twitchy Foot car, Nick Wood, going around.
Frustration continues for Nick Wood, and he drops down to 27th in the order. CW has let himself out now because he's in the middle of a coughing fit, and I think it's contagious and it's coming through the Discord channel because I've got a frog in the throat at the moment, but then again, that might also be a repercussion of doing a number on the voice box after the Winton finish that we saw a few moments ago as well. Matty Dench and Ben Pedersen, 1 and 2. Shane Wright, Corey Lazarus, Andrew Smith, Sam Muir, Brett Barker, Matt Stewart, Dane Snadden, and Jake Jackson, the top 10 after 4 laps at Hockenheim.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if Ben Pedersen's just auditioning for the Blackout boys because I didn't pick up a Kiwi accent on him last week, and he's certainly got a lot of Kiwi motif on that car this week, but still with the PGA tucked on the front of there. So he was suggesting that he'd be very happy to drive for Blackout last week in a cheeky, mischievous kind of way.
Actually, while I think of it, CW is tied up in the Motorsport Australia Queensland Circuit Racing Championships. It's been going through wretched run of late. They almost cancelled this weekend's race meeting out at Morgan Park in Warwick. It's been salvaged. How well attended it is, I'm not terribly sure as yet. But good luck to everyone that's heading out to Morgan Park this weekend for round 3 of the Queensland Circuit Racing Championships, and we can only hope that the ongoing ensuing issues there resolve fairly shortly, or otherwise Queensland Motorsport will be capitulating and killing itself once more. It's had a fair crack between the 3 circuits and the 3 administrating bodies and the 3 governing sanctioning bodies and everything else. It's had a fair crack at killing itself over the last couple of years, but after the promotion and the operation of the last round of the Motorsport Australia Queensland Circuit Racing Championships, there were a few people very, very disappointed. So we can only hope that the only way is up for those guys.
Oh, wiggle from Pedersen there.
Oh, jeez! For the sake of saving what is a very good concept. Now, Shane Wright's all over the back of Ben Pedersen on the back of that lockup coming into the final corner, and how well did Pedersen do to control that?
And you see that tiny little black dot just going around the corner? That's Matt Dench. he's 6.5 seconds.
6 seconds down the road in 5 laps, Grant. Are we surprised? No.
Yeah.
141.292 for Dench. Okay, let's start the zaculations now. 141, so we're not quite at the 1 minute 40, but 1 minute 40 and 3:20 and 5 is 3 laps, so 3 in 5 gives you 36 laps through the hour, because 3 and 3 is 6 to get you to 10 minutes, and times that by 6 gets you to 60 minutes and 36 laps. I'd probably take a lap off that. Probably 35 is the magic number tonight, because we will probably see 2 pit stops from these guys. And we will also obviously see a little bit of pace drop off as the night goes on as well, with tyre wear also playing a part, and of course adding the fact that they're not quite on that 100-second threshold. So 35 is what I'm going for. Again, that's not my strong point, so don't hold me to it.
Never was.
No. Dench, Pedersen, Wright, Lazarus, Muir, Barker, Stewart, Snadden, Jackson and Smith, the top 10 here. Big movers so far. 6 positions gained for Jake Jackson. He's the best mover of those in the top 10. Chuk Fung Wong's up 9 spots in 14th. And also up 9 is Callum Heinrich in 19th. 8 for Kurt Chapman in 21st place. 6 each for Eduardo Zamora and Jared Gilbert. They're 24th and 25th respectively. That'll do us for the moment. We've lost a couple. Jonathan Hooper's parked up after 4 laps. He's retired. Dale Sharp's still in pit lane after 5 laps. He's going to go a lap down here. And he doesn't look like he's going anywhere terribly quickly. Aidan Schultz is parked up and done for the night after 3 laps, and Brenton Hobson after 1 lap. Of course, Matty Brunton on starter. So already we're down to 29. The field attrition is high in the early stages here, and we've only clocked 10.5 minutes.
Corey Lazarus right back into this, right on the back of Pedersen and Wright. So, that 6-second lead Matthew Dench had? 8.
Catch me if
he
you can.
He is travelling. Last lap round was a 141.68 for him. Shane Wright was a 143.74, and Wright is past Pedersen.
Yep, and that's been brewing for a while. Ever since Wright was able to latch back onto his tail, Lazarus is coming along for the fight as well. And the more these guys duke it out and jockey for positions amongst themselves, the further Dench is going to disappear. And it's interesting too, because Denchy, we've always known these single race formats as his niche. But particularly after the last couple of weeks, particularly in GT3, and then of course Long Beach last week in the Porsches, where it hasn't been his usual 10 out of 10 class with capital C stuff. He was desperate to bounce back into faultless form tonight, and already 8.5 seconds to the good here, nearly 9 as they complete lap 7 of this expected 35 lap race. So we're already 20% of the way there after 12 minutes. And Matty Dench, 141.292 is the fastest lap that he's punched out thus far. No one else in the 41s at the moment, with the exception of Andrew Smith, a 141.912. So that gives you an indication as to where the benchmark is at the moment and how Dench is so far north of it. He's already out, as I say, to an 8.8 second advantage. This just sends the message. But what Dench has got to be mindful of, and so should Corey Lazarus, is the championship can't be won tonight if Lazarus finishes this race. Because next week they've got 3 races. And next week we've got an invert. We know that the old invert races aren't exactly Dench's cup of tea.
And we've got 4 races worth of points. The third of the sprints is double points, so there's a heck of a load of points on offer. And if you don't finish at least well in the second race, well, that puts you in harm's way for the third race with those double points.
So lots to take into consideration and factor in to the equation here at the moment. And we'll keep an eye on the open split standings as we go on here as well. And have a look at right under the pump from Pedersen and Lazarus. And Lazarus has finally latched on here, so it's a 3-way fight. But they can kiss Denchi goodbye. If Denchi trips up, that's probably their get-out-of-jail-free card and their way back into this. But at the moment, Denchi's 9.5 seconds up the road after 8 laps. There he is. Top of shot. Round out of the main straight. 3 corners clear of everybody at the moment. And then some. Oh, geez. Dench just doing Dench things on a Thursday night. Have a look at Lazarus trying to get down on the inside of Pedersen. And right as well. Oh, boy. It's brewing here. It's good stuff. Back to Alex Schmidt in 12th place at the moment. He's got Roney for company. Roney's had a shocker thus far, down 7 spots. And Gordon Ramsay up 3 into 11th. Jake Jackson is just at the top of that shot, and even just beyond that, you've got a whiff of him there for a moment, was Andrew Smith, who's dropped 2 spots from his starting position as well. Matt Stewart up 5 spots at the moment in 7th place. He's chasing Brett Barker and under pressure from Dane Snadden. Here we go back to the battle for second, though.
Oh,
it's hard to take your eyes off there. Oh, no, Pedersen. Trouble. There it is. We're waiting for it. They've all gone wide, and here comes Corey Lazarus. Lazarus goes to third, back on the inside. No, it's well and truly come undone for Benny Pedersen. Drops down to 5th, gets passed by Sam Muir as he rejoins the circuit. This is how it happened.
Oh, there is a touch, a lock-up.
A touch, a double lock-up. And Pedersen, as he was trying to get back onto the he caught the curb. Yep. He caught the sausage curb. That'll do it every day of the week. And it's just sent him hard left. He did well, actually, to keep it off the Armco there, Grant. So,
Muir's through.
I mean, he can still salvage something, but that 3-way fight for second has now become 2.
Oh, there's no substitute for raw pace, and he's certainly got plenty of that. We've seen that last week. It's like football, as they say. You can't coach speed, but if you've got that pace, gives you that confidence to take a little uppercut like that, is albeit self-imposed, but to then knuckle down and work out what you can do from there on. Nick Wood on the comeback trail somewhat.
Yeah, down in, 23rd position at the moment. And that's the thing. I mean, we talk all the time about the different race formats. For the guys that have tripped up early in the PC, they can still salvage something. It's early enough in the race that they can still salvage something. You don't want to be tripping up in the last 10 minutes because that's when it all falls to pieces and you can't salvage anything from that. So it's not over yet. It's just a long slog back and a tough night at the office, especially if you don't get a safety car to help you out somewhere along the way.
You know who else
and the likelihood of that is very slim.
Yeah, it's another bloke that's having a tough night at the office so far is just in front of Nick Wood here. That's Paul Wilson, leader of the Porsche Open Championship at this point, running down in 7th place in the open standings. So Chuk Fong Wong doing a good job up front there, Jeff Adams and Stephen Galasha with Heinrich, and then Adam Lavis in 5th. So coming in tonight, it was Wilson from Adams from Lavis. So Adams doing himself no harm whatsoever.
None at all. Just updating everybody at home around the grounds quickly. AFL second half underway. Geelong 7-3-45 leading Port Adelaide 5-8-38, and of course Port Adelaide on a winning streak of 10 straight, I think it is at the moment, looking to continue that, but behind on the scoreboard on the ledger at the moment to the tune of 7 points. We'll keep you updated with that one. It'll be finishing that game around the time we're signing off tonight. And of course, the Socceroos coming up at the top of the hour as well. Big Thursday night of sport. But our focus right now is here at the Hockenheim Ring. And the old Hockenheim Ring was just horsepower heaven, Grant. Have a look at this. Pedersen looking for fourth on the inside of Muren. Did it easy. Down the inside to turn 2. Old school Hockenheim, a lot more horsepower reliant. Of course, you had to have legs, grunt, muscle, all that stuff. This one, you've got to have a little bit of technical wit about you as well, Grant, because it's not as straightforward as the old school circuit. There are a couple of challenging corners. This one coming up one of them, and a couple of areas, as we've already found out tonight, where you can trip up easily.
Oh yeah, Lazarus threw on right, so that almost looked tactical by right. I think he just knew he was sitting duck.
Save a little bit of fuel, maybe.
Yeah, but a sitting duck running down into the far corner, and you remember that 8-second lead? 12.6.
Yeah.
In the 41s again.
At a second a lap.
Yeah.
At a second a lap. And then some. I mean, we're only on lap 11. The guy's going to lead by nearly 13 by the end of this lap.
And we know
we're not even third of the way through the race, Grant. He's heading for half a minute.
Yeah, and we know David and Veronica are great fans of ours, so we'll just have a look at him for a bit, shall we? And maybe ride on board with him just for a moment.
Yeah, let's go on board and crank the volume up. We're not going to say anything. Just watch the brilliance of Matty Dench at work here, folks. Go for a lap with him.
Few short shifts in there, just dulling the power a little bit, but centimetre perfect, and generally it's one move. It's a bit like the old Maxi Verstappen, and I know that's a long bow to draw, but there's one move of the wheel, one move to make the apex, and just releases it on the exit. Yes, let's just say he isn't fuel saving, I'd say that much. But interesting in these cars, it always sounds, every time you change in a sixth, it sounds like the recess bells going at school. There's this sound to the sixth gear in these cars that you always think, oh, something's wrong, and you go, oh no, that's just the gearbox.
Okay, so there's two questions here. The first one is, what's the critical lap for everybody? When are they going to come in? Because at the moment they're showing no signs of stopping. We've only just gone past the end of the 21-minute mark of the race. 38:40 left on the clock. So we're getting towards crunch time as far as this opening stint of the race is concerned. And then obviously the strategy opens up a little bit, because we'll see a few people do a short stint second, or a medium sort of stint second, or a full-blown run at dry stint. And then that shakes things up for that run home.
Well,
so that's number one. And number two, with regards to Denchi, the pressure's off him at the moment because the buffer is so large, and I think he really thrives on that. As soon as he's built that little bit of a buffer and he's got some comfort up his sleeve and some room to move and play with, I think that actually helps his driving because he's making it look faultless, as you've seen, because the pressure's off.
Yeah, and
As much as it can be when you only lead the championship by 5 points.
yeah, well, on board with Dench and Mr. Dench, senior, who said he's not fuel saving. Tell you who is, Shane Wright, as he headed down into that long hairpin. He just switched the motor off about 250 metres out and just coasted up. And we saw Andrew Smith's now pitting in, but we saw Shane Wright step aside for Corey Lazarus in what seemed to be quite a deliberate move. He's just tucking into that slipstream as much as he can while saving as much as he can. Now, we'll have to see if 23 minutes is as far as we get on a tank, because Adam Lavis is in as well as Smith. Interesting to see how much more there is. Whether they're playing fresh air games, get in behind... get in and out of behind someone else and see how that goes. But great battle here between Matt Stewart and Brett Barker. Brett Barker and Matt Stewart. And Dane Snadden, of course, came up just a few weeks ago from the Open Cup to the Elite, and a very fine showing from him once again, travelling in 8th place at the moment, up 3 spots.
So we continue on, watching Matt Stewart. Piggy in the middle as far as this battle for 6th is concerned. Brett Barker and Dane Snadden either side. Snadden behind, Barker in front. Dench is in. Matty Dench is in. The end of lap 14. Matty Dench is on pit road. Now Lazarus is going to continue on. He's going to play on for another lap. So too Shane Wright. And also Ben Pedersen, excuse me. Lazarus, Wright, Pedersen play on. Dench has come to pit road. He's not alone. Stewart and Snadden have gone with him. Let's wait and see. Now, is this tactical by these blokes? Are they up to tricks that we're not sure of? Are they playing the fuel save game? And is that why they've been so much slower than Matty Dench to this point?
There's the other option too, that if it's 2 stops and not a full third tank, then it's possible to start on less fuel and do your short stop at the outset. And I wonder if maybe that's something that Dench has done to get clear air and get away from the pack, given his shortcomings of the last couple of weeks. But that's always an option, that you only put the final stints, if you will, amount of fuel in to start with, and then go 2 full tanks from there, or 1 full tank from there. But at 25 minutes, you'd have to think there's a splash and dash to fit into the hour, because 2 of those will give you 50 and 10 minutes on a final stop.
That's right.
Curious. I'm sure he'll reveal what's going on. Maybe he just wanted to get out and shake a few cobwebs out, if you will. But Corey Lazarus once again into the lead of the race. Andrew Smith not having a good night.
No.
Having had his pit. It's a long, long, long way back from there. And...
oh, no.
Yeah. Just
too deep, and trying to pull it up, he's looped it.
Just too much. Now they're in. Lazarus goes around for another. So
there we go.
Wright didn't save enough.
So Lazarus is going long. This is now lap 16. That's going to get into just beyond the 27.5-minute mark.
Big clutch.
Doesn't get him home on my numbers without a second splash and dash. Does not know. Well, yeah, it's interesting, because 27.5 and 27.5 is 55. So that leaves 5 minutes. Now, is the clutching going to cost him in the long run? Because so many times we see, if you try to one up Matty Dench in his game and you're slowing yourself, Dench can do this sort of stuff and maintain the pace. So you don't want to sell yourself short. How much is clutching worth it in the long run to save yourself, a couple of seconds on pit road and a couple of litres of fuel? We're going to wait and see how this plays out. But Lazarus is going long. This is lap 16 of the stint. And he's only, and this is the point, he's only 8.7 seconds up the road from Matty Dench at the moment, who is just taking chunks out of that advantage right now.
Yeah, his last lap was a 43.63. Where's someone else's? Well, that was a pretty good lap from him, actually, because a lot of the others are sort of running 46s. But he is saving fuel massively. Can he get it out to that 28.5, 29.5 minutes and hope for the best to get home? Going round again. So another lap will give him another minute 40, which takes him to 29 and a bit. Oh, he's hanging on by the skin of his teeth. Clutch there. He's... let's have a look what sort of lap time...
Now, this makes it more interesting because this will get him to 29.25.
Yeah.
And 29.25 will get him... well, he's still got to come in for the transit time. And then 29.25 on the back of that gets you to 58.5. So if he goes 17 laps in this stint, he's still got to go a little bit longer in the next one, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Still got to get to 35. Again, 35 is that number that I'm looking at. And the way I'm adding the numbers up at the moment, 29.25 or 29.25 is 58.5.
Yep.
And then transit time. So that extra lap is going to come in that 59, at the end of that 59th minute. So, yeah, interesting.
Good on him
Interesting.
for giving this a shot.
Oh, absolutely. It's a long shot. It's a big shot. But if you can make it work, then so be it. I mean, the advantage at the moment is only 6.5. But then we've got to work out what the transit time advantage that he's going to potentially gain is by not stopping a second time, if that's what he's up to, if that's what he's trying to achieve.
Yeah, well, the pit lane time should give us an indication. Matthew's pit lane time was 31.3, which is a good 3 seconds faster than anyone else. Oh, he's just, as he's taken the clutch off, and it's just giving him a little compression lock up there, and that's what you've got to be so careful of when you get out of rhythm with these cars, is you let the clutch out just a fraction early and the engine doesn't want to spool up, locks those tyres up. 29 minutes, 29.10, he's got to come in.
He's in.
He's in.
So that's the end of a 17-lap run, which is 3 longer than Denchi. Denchi's going to fly by left of screen in just a moment across the start-finish line and start the next lap. He takes the lead. That is no surprise to anybody. But now it's a case of what the deficit is here when Lazarus comes back out onto the racetrack, and whether that is the same as Matty Dench's transit time on his first pit stop. Because Denchi's second pit stop probably not going to be as long because he's not going to have to take on as much fuel. Yeah, I'm just starting to think that might not have been the right strategy for Corey Lazarus, even though he's out now after 16 seconds of sitting still taking gas. I just don't know if the gamble's going to pay off.
Well, we'll have to
not given Denchi speed at the moment, because it just feels as though Denchi's going to find another gear and wind up the wick again.
Might not get him first. Might sit him pretty well with the rest of the boys though, because he's right with them, and we'll just have to wait and see how far he can get. But that was very close, because by the time he came out of the pits, then he went in at 29.10 or 29.15, but he was in there for a good 30 seconds, so that takes you out just about to the 30 minutes. We shall have to see. Interesting. Guy Leach all over the back of Adam Lavis. This is down in 17 and 18, and by class I think Leach is a elite split. Richard King now leading the Open Cup. Jeff Adams still sitting in second. He likes second place, clearly, because he's second in the championship. Adam Lavis has made his way up to third. Chip Fong Wong has slipped back in that process, but Paul Wilson has made his way up to sixth, so it's a long night of recovery from him. Pedersen and Wright and Pedersen. Pedersen in third, Wright in second. Oh, that's very wide. Penny's leaving nothing on the table.
And nor should he.
No.
Nor should he. Shane Wright's within striking distance. And again, a trademark trait of Hockenheim Racing is, even though there are probably more opportunities up for the taking than Winton, overtaking here is not straightforward.
No. No, we know how...
If you're just joining us, the 88 at Brenton Hobson parked up at the end of lap one, not to be seen again, I wouldn't imagine, in Porsche racing.
Ever.
No, he's had a gutful now, I reckon.
Yeah.
That'll be it.
What do they say? Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me once,
me
shame
twice,
on you.
shame on- yeah,
Fool me
yeah,
twice,
exactly.
shame on me. He gave it a third crack, and he just wasn't going to take the trouble. There's Muir, straight past Lazarus. So I'd say Lazarus is still on the fuel save, which he obviously has to be if he's going to make this work. Then he's got
If he's going to play the game.
Matt
Yep.
Stewart right behind him.
Dench right, Pedersen, Muir and Lazarus, and now Lazarus will leave the door potentially open to Stewart here as well. Stewart's right there within striking distance, and if Stewart's on the two-stop strategy, he'll want to make light work of Lazarus and try and go with Sam Muir here. We'll wait and see. It's very interesting the way this one's playing out. Tantalising prospect ahead of us in the final 28 minutes or 27 minutes now, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're enjoying Thursday Night Motorsport on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. This is what happened to Chalk.
And this is after the fact, the old underfoot.
Oh, no.
A little bit too much brake. Probably bias is just a little bit far forward, and it just lets the back around, or maybe too far back. But Jared Gilbert also having a less than memorable evening. Such a hard corner to get into and get out of. He's finally slowed it down. You're always trying to brake just that little bit later and just a little bit later, and then if you just can't push the pedal any harder because it'll just lock up.
You know how I mentioned Geelong were leading that game of football a short while ago, Grant? They're now 18 points behind. Port Adelaide have come out and gone bang, 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 and lead by 18, 10-9. 69 to 8-3-51 at the Adelaide Oval. So Port Adelaide looking good for another game win, and they are in scintillating form at the moment. There's people in Powerland. They're still whinging about the Guernsey, war that they're having with Collingwood, obviously. But with the prison handlebars and that, but they're starting to have flashbacks to 2004, those Port Adelaide fans right now. So we'll wait and see. They've probably already paid for their trip to Melbourne in September and brought grand final tickets. But September's still a long way away. Jared Gilbert's going to pull up, and that's going to be done.
That's enough. That'll do.
I've had a gutful of this. I'm out. I'm having an early night. I didn't realise it was 60 minutes. Haven't got time for that.
So Lazarus has found himself a nice spot in here. It's a pace that he's happy enough with. Although that last time round, Muir did a 43.64. He did a 44.83, but that had the pass in it.
And he'll be happy getting the toe from Muir as well, I'd imagine. Yeah. And meanwhile, at the front, Matty Dench is doing 42.4s. Everybody else is in the 43s. Denchy, of course, 1:41.292. Matty Dench still has the fastest lap, and his lead is 23.5 seconds.
Yeah, it looks like he's on a practice day. He's hired the circuit for the day, and he's just running fast laps. Just promotional day. They've probably got the film.
Just an elongated timed practice run. Yep, exactly. He's used to this by now, though. Mm. You'd think that'd make it a little bit more boring for us, but it's not. We're enjoying it.
Well, we've just got to remember to check in on him from time to time. It's like having a young one having a swim at the pool every now and then. You've just got to keep spinning your head over to make sure he's going all right. Still got his head above water. And,
exactly.
Matty's doing exactly that in exemplary style.
Kids Alive did the 5. Remember that? Laurie Lawrence. Very nice. On the subject of just making sure the young ones got their head above water. Oh, no.
Well, I'm one of 4.
We're skirting into dangerous territory, aren't we, Grant?
We are. I'm one of 4 boys within, I think 4 boys within about 5 years. And Mum always used to say she'd go to the beach and she'd go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just constant eye out. Very diligent mother. Rest in peace, Mum.
Nicely said. I was going to say, normally when I go places, I have to count to 10, but it's for different reasons.
To stop saying something inappropriate?
Old anger management kicking in, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know nothing about old anger management, mate.
just, I mean, today, case in point, right? I'm trying to walk out of the basketball stadium here in town. and old mate's just standing there in the doorway as though he's checking everybody's ID on the way through. It was just a general patron. If it was security, I wouldn't have minded, but I'm trying to squeeze through to get home and do this bloody thing. And here's old mate just, standing in the, it makes a better door than a window. I mean, but, in that particular instance, it didn't need to be the door either. Anyway, Matty Dent, Shane Wright. Sorry, we're commentating a motor race here. I forgot about that.
That was
Ben Pedersen is third, and Sam Muir and Corey Lazarus making up the top.
That was just a little intermission. But pop out, get your choc top
a little
bit with nuts on, and come back in. We'll let you know what's going on. Matty Dench, 24 seconds in front of Shane Wright, who's 2 up the road from Ben Pedersen. Yes, that's correct. Ben Pedersen has 3 seconds on Sam Muir, back in the first of the 1.9 MX wraps. Corey Lazarus has dropped back from him, so from Sam Muir, so he's now still in that draft-ish range with Matt Stewart. Happy to tuck in there, and Andrew Smith's been the bloke who's been doing a bit of moving and shaking.
Yes.
Still where he was when he started, but he'd moved back a long way earlier on. As we saw, let's have a look. Richard King leading out the Open Cup with a 7-second. That's a good gap over Jeff Adams. So that's 2 and 3 in this race, at 2 and 3 in the championship. So Mr. Wilson.
Now that's interesting. Here comes Richard King to pit lane. Now, did he cut it a little bit too fine there with the pit line? iRacing usually did crack down on pit entry, so it'll be interesting to see, because it looked to me as though that was just a little bit too close. Yeah, he's over that. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not sure. I think the outside there is not lava, so we'll see how he goes. Because
I know it's different rules and different horses for courses and different racetracks, so it'll be interesting to see. Richard King on pit road. Keep an eye on that. Oh, no, he's okay. It's only 14.67. He's okay.
Oh, and
I'm glad we're entertaining somebody.
Yeah.
It's been one of those sorts of nights. As soon as we saw CW struggling at Windsor, we knew it was going to be entertaining.
That's Andrew Smith having a good run, but then running out of stopping power there.
So Dane Snadden in 12th place at the moment, outright. Let's go back, actually. Can we have a look at the outright order there, Grant, as opposed to the class order, just to give everybody an indication as to how things are going and where things are? Because now, the way the new timing system works at my end, I get, when you're showing class, I get class. When you're showing outright, I get outright. So I need to have a look at that just momentarily, so we can tell everybody that Sam Muir's up 5 spots, Matt Stewart's up 6, Brett Barker's up 2, Gordon Ramsay's up 5, Alex Schmidt is up 6. The best placed of the open split is Jeff Adams in 15th. And then beyond that, a high rate of attrition: Jared Gilbert, Michael Schroeder, Eduardo Zamora, Dale Sharp, Jonathan Hooper, Aidan Schultz and Brenton Hobson have all bit the dust so far. Matty Brunt didn't even start. So we are down to 25 of the original 33. So we've lost 8 along the way here. Matty Dench has a lead in excess of 24 seconds at this point in time. Is anyone surprised? Probably not. It's lap 24. We're past 2/3 race distance. Again, my calculator has us going to 35. I think we're okay for that, 35. But again, maths isn't a strong point. So just, if we're one either side of that, I apologise, folks. But we'll wait and see. He's Jane Snadden down on the inside. Matty Dench, when's he due into pit lane? Whoa! Now, casing point, he's lost out there, unfortunately, is Jane Snadden. Casing point, Grant, we're now past that critical lap because we're inside that final 20 minutes. We're only about 11 laps from home. As soon as Dench crosses the line there to complete lap 24, he's on to lap 25. 11 from home. He's in his fuel window, and so is just about everybody else, because they all went 14, 15, 13 at minimum on that opening stint. So Richard King's already been in for his second stop. He's on the run home. He might have to get a little bit more juice out of the third tank than he did the second and first, because he stopped on lap 22. But 14 for Denchi and 28. So he's basically, he could stop now and
Yeah.
top up and get home.
Yeah.
21 would have been the critical number on 14 if we're going 35. So everybody's in the window. So now it's just a matter of when, not if, for these guys.
Correct.
A bet on what, Andrew? A bet on what, please? So that's the problem with only having two people in the booth. It's essentially a one-way conversation. So now, just going to give everybody a quick reminder as well. Sydney 300 coming up July 15. This is the event in the real world that I look forward to each year, and I'm commentating again this year. New look commentary team this year. All will be revealed in due course. But if you can get along to Sydney Motorsport Park on the 15th of July, well worth the price of admission because entries are through the roof. They've currently got 55 entries for that Picture Partners Sydney 300. In fact, I think today number 56 got lodged. So that's track density covered.
Matty
Everybody
Dench
else on the waiting list from this point forward. Matty Dench to pit lane at the end of lap 25. This is that splash and dash to get him to the final 10 laps to get him home. Frenchy comes to pit lane with a 34-second advantage, I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, something ridiculous.
that's
Now
it.
down the inside. Oh, Snadden couldn't get it done. Snadden trying to get by Schmidt, and Jackson's there as well.
I think he'll get the
Finally, some bloody action.
he'll get the record for the most overtakes tonight, Snadden, but it's all the same bloke. He keeps overtaking him and then just outbraking himself. And
Game one,
overtaking.
lose one. Game one,
no,
lose
you
two.
can't go
Game
there.
two, lose one. Oh, man, he bit the dust.
Nit
What'd you say he was going to do, Grant? Well played, well called, well picked.
And he's taking Jake Jackson with him, unfortunately.
Poor old Jake Jackson, the sacrificial lamb in all of that. Snadden might have an invoice to pay here with race control after the fact, although Jackson's done it all on his own, taking evasive action.
Yes.
Yep. So, no case to answer for there, actually, for Dane Snadden. I stand corrected, but frustration, for Jake Jackson, and that denies us a three-way fight in the mid-pack now. There aren't too many battles brewing around this racetrack at this point in time. Matty Dench has come out.
In the lead.
Matty Dench has come out in the lead after his second pit stop.
Yes.
So Corey Lazarus's theory has been shot to pieces. Shane Wright, Ben Patterson, Sam Muir are all there, second, third, and fourth. I mean, Lazarus is only 6 seconds down the road from all of that, but Wright's within striking distance of Dench, but they've all got an invoice to serve. So Dench is going to win in a canter tonight, provided that he doesn't put a foot wrong from here. And he hasn't put a foot wrong so far through 45 minutes, so I can't see that changing through the last 25% of the race. 75% race distance clocked up now, ladies and gentlemen. Lap 26 just about done. We've got 9 to go.
And Lazarus is still doing his fuel saving, so even if he does have to pit again, it's going to be at least 5 seconds, 6 seconds shorter than anyone else's, if not more. So it puts him in good stead because there's Pedersen coming into the pits now. He's not that far off second place, so it might elevate him up. No, who's to say he wouldn't have got second place? This is Dale Leach.
Well, that's right. Exactly. Oh, no.
And Magnus Round.
No. So now that we've got a little bit of a dead patch in the race, and I say that knowing that, Dench has come out of his second pit stop that far in front of everybody who hasn't already stopped. The field isn't cleansed yet, but we know who our effective race leader is. Was it ever in any doubt? I want to go back to the point I was making earlier, Grant. Read an article today on Whitewater Sports from their motorsport correspondent, who follows the Speed Series and a couple of other things around, suggesting that IndyCar are looking at the possibility of going racing not just in North America next year, but also South America. After a decade of racing strictly in North America, expansion is on the horizon once again. Of course, Brazil, I think 2013 would have been the last time they went racing in South America, or in a continent that wasn't encompassing the United States and Canada. So there's talk of Argentina and using the MotoGP circuit for that. There's talk down the line of Brazil. Maybe, just maybe, they're finally cottoning on to the fact that the world doesn't just revolve around America. And when you look at the international talent pool in that series at the moment, it is good to see them exploring other options. And they could end up running into the same problems as Formula One have got. How many is too many in terms of their races? Yeah. But yes, I think it was the next natural course of growth or regrowth. Whoa! Through the infield goes Sproul. Back to 11th. I think it was the next natural course of progression for IndyCar to re-entertain expansion beyond North America. I mean, you've got so many racetracks to choose from in North America, but some of them are dead rubbish. And I mean, I'm not sure if anyone really enjoys racing in Iowa in cars that fast. But here we go. Move on the inside. Schmidt trying to get by Roney, can't get it done. But in saying all of that, obviously this will start to fuel the fire. When are they going to come back to Australia? And when are they going to, I mean, if I was IndyCar, I'd go to New Zealand before I'd go to Australia, because you've got both Scott Dixon, who's never had a home Grand Prix in his life, and also Scott McLaughlin. It would make sense to go there first before they come to Australia, even though we've got a 2-time IndyCar champion and 1-time Indy 500 winner in Will Power in their ranks. It would make sense to me to entertain New Zealand first. It may not financially be practical, but
that's it. It depends who's got the biggest bag of gold to slip under the table to them.
And then, of course, I mean, they used to take a race to Japan. Who will ever forget Danica Patrick first winning over there? So much room to grow the IndyCar series, because it is enjoying great popularity at the moment. Some of the best racing in world motorsport at the moment is coming out of IndyCar, and they're back at Road America next week, which always delivers the goods, as we know here on the platforms of the Gentleman's Sim Racing Club. Matty Dench completes lap 28, 7 laps to go. We're on lap 29. Shane Wright, Sam Muir, Corey Lazarus, 2, 3, and 4, and Lazarus just sitting there 2 seconds off Muir at the moment. Ramsey and Barker to pit lane. Field not cleansed yet. Still waiting for Wright, Muir, and Lazarus as to what they can muster up and achieve here. Lazarus is there. I'd say there'd be a fair bit of fuel saving going on at the moment.
There is.
For Lazarus. But can he get it to lap 35? Can he get it to the line? We'll wait and see. His first stint was 17. It needs to be an 18-lap run. It's going to be touch and go.
Only 8 seconds behind Shane Wright. So, like I said, even if he does have to take that pit stop, it'll be a very, very short pit stop for about 3 or 4 laps worth of fuel. And should be enough to elevate him past Wright, all things being equal. But again, who knows if he went full stick the whole way, whether he wouldn't have finished in second place as well. But it's great to see him trying something else. He probably figured, with Dench's speed, I'm going to be second to him most likely anyway. So this is a really good opportunity to try a fuel saving strategy, because one day, as we've spoken to him, it's not something he's done a lot of and not something he's comfortable doing. So after 29, 30, 31 laps of this racetrack, doing it lap after lap after lap, he'll be much more comfortable and will have learnt a hell of a lot. And that's the path he's on, is that learning path.
Breaking news as well for you, Grant Gill. If you're into the suckers game they call Powerball, no Division 1 winners tonight. So that goes to $100 million next Thursday night. We're all lining up to spend $16.15 on a ticket again.
That's just about enough. You would hate. I reckon you'd hate to win Powerball and win $3 or $4 million. I mean, it wouldn't be bad, but you'd go, why couldn't it have been the big one if I'm going to win it once in my life?
Not going to lie, 100 mil would do me just fine. That'd set me up forever. I wouldn't have to worry about politics or anything like that. I could just go off into the wilderness and hibernate. It'd be fantastic.
That's what they call FO money, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
You can tell anyone.
Or POQ.
Yeah.
Oh, dear. So, and it might just get the right mademoiselle across the line as well, in a matter of speaking. But I'm not holding my breath on that. Matty Dent, Shane Wright, Sam Muir, and Corey Lazarus, the top 4 here. Ben Pettis is 5th. We're watching Samuel Sproul all over the back of Alex Schmidt at the moment. And down the inside, here comes Sproul on Schmidt. Is this the move for 11th? It is. Sproul gets it done down on the inside. Nice move.
Very nicely done.
Job done. Denchi's on lap 30 and leading by 3.7 seconds, but Wright, Muir, Lazarus still yet to pay an invoice and come in for their second stop. There he is, coming through the stadium section, just making it look too easy. What's new? Oh, it's just fair income unbelievable, the statistics this guy's racking up. I mean, next week, it could well be the dozen, 6 in each. Monday Night Motorsport for Waste Options GT3, Thursday Night Motorsport for Blackout Electrical Solutions Porsche Cup. 6 on the trot in both, and it would be the dozen. So Wright comes in, Muir comes in. Does Lazarus follow? No surprise there. He's on a fuel save run. He's playing the game.
Not sure the X's aren't always accurate on iRacing between live timing and the server, but Matty Dench running currently with 0x, as is Sean Wright. Lazarus with a couple of those little incidents. He's got 7x, so for that slowdown it would have given him a few. So the gap between Dench, and if Lazarus doesn't have to pit again, that's 14 seconds currently. But he's got Shane Wright. Yeah, Shane Wright has pitted, and he's 11 seconds behind Lazarus. So we'll keep an eye on that gap, because with his fuel saving, we'll see how much that diminishes, and surely they'd have to go past him if he has to come in again.
Absolutely. Stick around on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club across the course of the weekend too, folks, because after the second production car race at Winton, last lap Zach's going to return. I've got to send a video. To Grant Gill at the end of this broadcast so he can do his best work.
Yeah, of course, last lap Zach came out of our Formula Vs, didn't it? Where you could just set that up every single race, and you'd have some cinematic gold. But production cars, haven't they been good this season? Absolute gem, and with a little bit of tweaking and maybe some slightly more popular car track combinations, you would have to think it would be a good start again for next season. So Lazarus still trundling around in 42.48 last time by. Pedersen's last time by was a 43.55, so I think he's probably none of them have probably got quite enough fuel to get to the end. But what's Lazarus got? 5 minutes 40, 5 minutes 35 to try and wring every last drop out of that oily rag he's got stuck in the fuel filler on this vehicle. I know the car I learnt to drive, my dad's 69 Beetle, had a little reserve tank on it, and you just flick this little L bracket in the footwell over if you ran out of fuel. I think it just moved the fuel pickup down another half inch or so, but it would get you to a servo generally. I wonder if Lazarus is looking for that on this vehicle. Brett Barker trying to give Gordon Ramsay a hurry up. Ramsay up 6 places, so he's done a really good job in this race to have made up some ground. Sam Sproul, of course, had a number of incidences that didn't do him any great favours, but our mate, Adam Lavis, I'm sorry about this, Adam, but he's up 9 places, in 16th place, and third overall for third in the Open Cup split.
It's almost as though you're the newsreader alerting Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander viewers to deceased persons in the next news clip when you apologise to Adam before we put him on camera.
Dead man walking.
It's becoming a regular occurrence, isn't it? Oh, poor Adam. If he didn't have bad luck, he'd have none at all. Now, Dench, Lazarus, Wright, Muir and Pedersen, the top 5 here in the elite split, the open split. King, Adams, then Lavis, Wong and Gallagher. So Lavis is on track, touch wood, for a podium in the open split at the moment, pending, of course, where those 3 at the bottom there showing. Actually, no, that won't matter at all. Look at them. Look at all the Porsche TBCs, Grant. Out, gone, done.
Yeah, okay.
All of them. Not a single finisher in the Porsche TBC category tonight, which is going to make it very hard for Adam Lavis to slot them into divisions for next week.
Yeah, well, you'll get an idea from the quali time and their best lap if they did a good representative lap. Dane Snadden, those tyres have had just about enough, I think.
Yep. they've cried foul. That's it. Thanks for coming.
So,
Matty Dench back at the front.
Yeah.
133. 2 to go, Grant.
Yep.
2 to go.
Well,
So that's so
interesting.
that will be that'll be 35 on the nose. Good, excellent,
so Lazarus
lovely.
did
The
7.
calculator worked tonight.
Lazarus did 17 laps first time round. He's done 15, so at the end of this lap he'll have done 16. He's got to try and find another lap. Whether he had enough in the tank to do another lap first time round, he'll. What's he got? Oh no, he's in now. Lazarus is in now, so this will be an absolute.
Yeah, and
Not even a splash. It'll be a sip.
and it's going to cost him second as well, Grant.
Yep.
Wright will come through. Wright goes to second. Muir will probably come through with him and go to third. And Lazarus will slot out in fourth place. Oh, actually, he might get third. He might. Oh, no, Muir's gone. Muir's got him. Muir has got Lazarus. Lazarus cried foul. He got 17 laps in the first and 16 in the second. That strat did not work, but he's going to have one hell of a crack here,
Wow.
hopefully.
He was-
It's Sam Muir for the final spot on the podium. Just 0.7 of a second covers them with 2 minutes to play this lap and one more.
He's got to flip a mental switch now. The whole time up to this point, he's been going slow. He's been getting on the clutch. So watch him to maybe miss a brake mark here or there. Whilst now he starts to push. He doesn't have the experience of the track under full speed conditions, and especially with a tow and closing in on another car. But fourth place down 2. Sam Muir third place up 6. Shane Wright up 1 and. Have we seen this bloke? I think I saw him once before tonight. So he's doing well.
Just disappearing into the sunset, actually. And that was when we last saw him. Just a flash, gone.
Yep.
Look at the margin, 24 and a half seconds. 1 lap to go at Hockenheim. White flag is out. Is Barney doing his job tonight? We'll find out in a moment. Is he actually waving the bloody flag, or is he taking the night off? We'll find out. But the clock is about to expire.
Where's
And reach that 60-second marker. There he is. He's actually doing his job. Well done, son. About time you showed up. Not sure the paycheck's in the mail yet. Matty Dench, Shane Wright, Sam Muir, and then this Corey Lazarus bloke who's second in the championship coming into the round needs this third place. Needs to find a way by Muir, who's driven faultlessly tonight from 9th on the grid up to 3rd. Somewhat flown under the radar, sheepishly.
Oh, he's
Just going about his business rather quietly, rather patiently. Has been rewarded with a potential podium here, but not without one hell of a challenge from Corey Lazarus on this final lap. Lazarus, will he have a lunge at the hairpin? And if not there, it'd have to be the arena section of the circuit.
I reckon he's. Oh, look at him go defensive.
Lazarus,
Muir's dive to the
He's
inside.
going to have to go the long way round. Muir's going to defend. Lazarus goes deep. Lazarus goes very deep round the
under.
outside, up and under. No. Muir's going to cover that.
Oh,
Oh, Lazarus almost threw it away over the sausage curb. They're side by side on the run up to the arena section, and Muir's still got him at bay, still covering him off. Lazarus is going to squeeze it down the inside. Now, can he pull it up? Yes, he can. Lazarus from nowhere gets himself back onto the podium. But take your hands out and smash them together for this bloke, ladies and gentlemen. Let every lap smash the field. From first on the grid, Matty Dench converts it into a race win. And we shouldn't be surprised that it's to the tune of 24 seconds. Dench wins at Hockenheim in a must-win situation. Oh, talk about handling the pressure. Now look at this. Lazarus and Muir, the fight for third on the podium. The final spot on the podium. Last turn, checkered flag. Wright gets second. Muir throws everything at it, but Lazarus comes up trumps. Lazarus holds off Muir in a classic final lap battle. A duke out for bronze. And a vitally important few points in the greater scheme of things for Corey Lazarus, given how tight the championship fight is. Oh, how good's this edition of Thursday Night Motorsport been? A little bit lackluster in parts, that Porsche race, but the end certainly made up for it.
Well, it's as I keep drawing the comparison to a basketball match, you've got to sit through that. I don't even know how long a basketball match goes for, but you just want to get to that
Depends which level.
last 2 minutes at 84 all, and just go for it. So you have to have that development phase of it to have that mystery and the intrigue. Nice work from Adam Lavis, 15th place, up 10 spots. I can talk about him now because race is over.
That's it.
In a good way.
And well done. 3rd place in class as well.
Wilson
for
could only manage 5th, so that was 5 points between Adams and Wilson, so it'll be interesting. It's enduro points for tonight, so be interesting to see. That championship will be as tight as you like. Of course, Maddie will have stretched out somewhat in the Elite Cup, but that was pretty good, Zach. Pretty
Not
good
bad at all.
All in all,
We've had a good night. Sport for choice. The Renaults, as much as Chris Whitaker is going to live to, regret that round, Renault's delivered in spades. Porsche's dished up the goods at Hockenheim. Something different to the usual sprint racing around here. And Matty Dench, just to add insult to injury, has enough juice in the tank to come around and celebrate. And celebrate he shall. What a vitally important maximum points haul that is going to be for M. Dench. I said that he led every lap. That was on corrected order. He, of course, pitted 3 laps earlier than Corey Lazarus, so he didn't lead there the entire way, but he was in control the entire way, and that's the difference. To the point where he came out of his second pit stop at the head of the race. He came out before anyone else had stopped for their second splash and dash. He was ahead of the field. That's how dominant he was tonight. That might be one of the more dominant performances we've ever seen from him around here in the Porsche Cup. Magnificent stuff. Dench from, let's have a look at actually, can we go to the outright results Grant? It is outright, good. Because it's still showing up as class on my timing screen here. Dench right, Lazarus, Muir, Pedersen, Stewart, Smith, Ramsey, Barker, and Sproul, the top 10. There we go. A minute outside of Dench's time was Alex Schmidt in 11th and Jake Jackson 12th. Richard King, first of the open, split home in 13th ahead of Adams, Lavis and Fong Wong, then Snadden. And going back beyond that, if we can, 18th was Paul Wilson, then Stephen Gallacher and Nick Wood. Over the page, a long list of retirements here. A long, depressing list of retirements. But before that, we, of course, got to Magnus Roney in 21st place. Guy Leach was a lap down, so too Callum Heinrich and Kurt Chapman. And then the long list of 9 retirements. Brendan Griffiths, Jared Gilbert, Michael Schroeder, Eduardo Zamora, Dale Sharp, Jonathan Hooper, Aidan Schultz, Brenton Hobson, and Matty Bryant. Wow. Talk about stepping up when it matters. Denchi came in somewhat under the pump, feeling the pressure, somewhat against it because the last 2 weeks hadn't necessarily gone his way. Corey Lazarus had clawed his way back into the fight. Then he goes out and makes a statement like that and gets everybody on notice and on edge as we head to Austria next week to the Red Bull Ring. And it will be interesting too because Lazarus is the only one that can deny Dench that half dozen consecutive titles. I cannot wait to see what these two dish up when we get to the Red Bull Ring next Thursday night. A couple of drivers will hopefully come and have a chat to us very shortly. In the meantime, Port Adelaide leading by 3 goals at the moment. 3.25 minutes into the 4th quarter. They lead 13-10-88 to 11-4-70. Geelong not out of it yet, but Port Adelaide controlling that 3-goal advantage that they've enjoyed since the early part of the 3rd quarter. Australia take on Argentina tonight in a game of international soccer that's listed as a friendly. They play more friendlies than anything else, don't they? The world of soccer. I've never known. I mean, it's like going back to the IndyCar chatter. They were talking about potentially making that South American round a non-championship affair. Haven't we learnt that non-championship affairs don't work? I mean, case in point, this weekend, Series X3 New South Wales is lining up on the support bill of the Shannon's Motorsport Australia Trophy Series at Sydney Motorsport Park. And get along to it if you can, ladies and gentlemen, because SMP's dishing up not only the opening round of the Trophy Series, but also it incorporates the Improved Production Nationals for 2023 this weekend and the non-championship round for Series X3. And probably a good thing it's a non-championship round because there's only 14 starters for the thing. So, which is really, really weak by Excel standards. But when you think about the bigger picture, those guys have got a championship to factor in, and the next round of that is only 4 weeks away. So why go out, spend money that you might not have and potentially wreck the car if you're not going to get anything for it? So non-championship doesn't work, yet football friendlies are popping up every bloody where. So, you know, what's good for the goose isn't necessarily good for the gander. I don't know.
No.
All the great sponsors scrolling across the bottom of the screen there, folks. We couldn't do it without them, of course. Hard to know where to start with highlights of the night. Granted, I might get your thoughts on that before hopefully a couple of drivers will join us here.
Oh, you know how terrible I am at that. I'm like the goldfish swimming around in the bowl going, oh, look, a castle. Oh, look, a castle. Oh, look, a castle.
I love it.
But look, it's one design racing is good. It works well. I think the production car series, as we've said a number of times already this evening, is a really good concept, and it's being executed very well. And the guys who are driving in it are having a lot of fun, and it shows because we're having a lot of fun broadcasting it and bringing the pictures to you. The Porsches, they've held on to their fields really quite well this season. In the past, you get to about this time of season and think, oh, maybe it's time this class had a rest next season. But you'd have to think the Porsches will stand up again for another season as well. And the club always does a wonderful job in bringing us some variety, but maintaining the old meat and veggies on the days that you like to have your meat and veggies. You know, Monday night will continue to be very strong, I'm sure, although there's whisperings that maybe GT4 should be main course at some stage. But no, look, the offerings tonight were fantastic. Matthew has just once again shown what a good driver and good race manager as well he is, and really was never challenged tonight. He put the bit back between his teeth. What do they like to say? Bit down on the gum shield and just went for it tonight, and just absolutely schooled the rest of the field. But some good battles throughout the course of the night. It showed just how tricky this track is for the drivers. A lot of our elite guys still having some troubles down into that hairpin, getting the car pulled up. A number of guys either looping it on the entry to a corner or on the exit of a corner, a few curbs, bringing them undone as well. So that just shines an ever brighter spotlight on the bloke who's joined us in the booth here and has just run away with it tonight.
Danchi, that was, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that was the most clinical we've ever seen you in the Porsche Cup. Good evening to you and well done again. Just absolutely smashed it from first until last, mate. First things first, and we need to go back and address this. I was a little bit surprised that we had a rolling start here. Don't we normally have standing starts in this caper?
Yeah, mate. I jumped in the car and I saw the pace car sitting ahead of me there, and I said in the in-game chat, what the hell is this?
What's going on here? Yeah, exactly. No, you weren't alone, because I was swearing blue murder that it was always a standing start. I was like, what the hell's going on here? In saying that, though, mates, you saw your opportunity. You bolted. You left the field in your rear-view mirror, and you did not look back. One school of thought from Dave was that you weren't fuel-saving tonight. I think that showed by the way in which you were constantly the fastest car on the track and by a country mile. You won the thing by 24 seconds. Even though you pitted earlier than a fair chunk of the field, you controlled the race from first until last. You came out as the effective leader. You re-inherited it on lap 17 when Corey Lazarus came to pit lane. You then came out onto the racetrack after your second stop, leading the field, who were yet to actually pay their second invoice. That's how dominant it was. The car, the driver, just on point with every aspect of that 60 minutes, mate.
Yeah, so I just went out tonight to just try and calm the driving down a bit, make sure I get that consistency back in there, and the lap time just came with it. You managed to get a 0x race around here as well, which is a really difficult feat.
Yeah, and another couple of points on your competitors as well, because I know, I think Shane Wright might have picked up, yes, it does look like Shane picked up a 0x as well, but Yeah, it'll certainly those extra couple of points don't hurt when you're coming into the final part of the season, do they?
Yeah, so like all of the bonus points are even better tonight because enduro round, so you got bonus points on the line as well. So yeah, we tried to do a big clean sweep tonight.
And I do believe you might have just done that. I expect you got the fastest lap of the race.
Yes, 141.292. No one got close to that.
Oh no, Smith got a 141.
7/10 of a second.
Yeah, 6 tenths. But yeah, you certainly, it was an emphatic display, an imperious display.
Yeah, it was went really well. I guess like probably could have tried to drive the car harder, but you know, mistakes come along with that. So yeah, we just went with the safer option tonight.
And
well, let's be perfectly honest, Denchi. Sorry, Grant.
No,
just elaborating on the pressure there. The last couple of weeks, you have been feeling it a little bit because the championship had been in your grasp comfortably, both on a Monday night and a Thursday night. Corey had always been nipping at your heels, but he was as close as he's ever been coming into this round. Same with Monday night. You went out there and sought some comfort with regards to the buffer you take into the final week. How much had you been feeling the pressure, and how much was it important? How important was it for you tonight to go out there, do what you do best, make a statement, and reaffirm your favouritism for this title next week?
Yeah, I think I was just coming unstuck with just feeling too comfortable in the car and just trying to push the car too hard, and I was just getting too many mistakes with that, and that closed the gap right up, and then we just had to push that out of the mind and just go back to be Mr. Consistent.
And probably good to be back to the foot flat to the floor and absolutely giving it, because next week with the 3 races, 4 sets of points worth, you're going to have to be pedal to the metal for the whole night, aren't you?
Yeah, so next week's going to be pretty tricky. We're just going to have to just try and do what we did tonight, just run nice, smooth, consistent laps and just let the positions come.
Now, was a one-stopper ever in the picture tonight, or is just a bridge too far?
Well, based off my qualifying fuel numbers, it was never going to be an option for me.
Right, yeah, because Corey Lazarus tried it. He got to, I think, about 29 minutes 10 in the first stint, and there was a lot of fuel saving, which is something he's working towards as well, so it was a bit of a training exercise for him, but he had to come in, I think, with 2 laps to go. He did 17 laps first stint, 15 second stint, and I think he just got to a point where he went, I'm not going to get there, there's no point coming in with 1 lap to go, so I may as well come with 2. But interesting that you have that mindset that you, had it been a little bit tighter, do you think you would have gone fuel save, or was your philosophy that today was going to be the day that you put your foot down?
I mean, as soon as we grid up, like I take a look at the numbers, and if I think it's possible, I'll commit to it. But if I think it's not quite possible, then yeah, you just go faster and you get go.
So that's your preferred strategy, is to go for the fuel save if it's in the ballpark?
If it's within reason, I like to do it just because I can get into like a nice consistent rhythm where I can still maintain a pretty good lap speed and still take the fuel save. So
yeah, absolutely. No, it was good to watch as I tried to make sure we showed a bit of you on screen for your mum and dad, so that they didn't feel like they were watching the reserve grade play while the firsts were on.
Well, let's be perfectly honest. They may as well have been, because there were actually battles happening behind Denchi as opposed to with Denchi. But that being said, actually, Denchi, I said during the call, I mean, we've seen you pull off some great wins when you've been under the pump, and when you've had, people like John Merritt or whatever chasing you down and making you work for it. And we saw Richard Mitchum do it a couple of weeks ago as well. But there just seems to be, from my perspective, from where I'm watching, disagree with me if you like, this is why I'm asking the question, and I said it to Grant during the call, there just seems to be something about you and being out on your own doing a time trial run, essentially, because that's what it became, that suits your driving style. You look more comfortable. You look more content. You look more relaxed.
Yeah, when you don't have a car like in your mirrors, it's a lot easier to just do your laps and hit your markers because you're only ever looking forward. So as soon as you've got a car behind you, you can it's quite easy to get distracted.
Yeah, and you got away well, courtesy of the rolling start, so you didn't have to battle through other drivers, and not being a sprint round, you didn't get rewarded for coming first by being starting 10th in the second race. So that's an even bigger help than having a look in your not having to look in your rear view.
Yeah, so on that opening lap, I saw Corey get a bit sideways coming out of turn 3, I think it was. So we were just sort of trying to give draft to Ben, and then we just tried to pull that gap away.
Yeah, I think Corey might have got a slowdown. Was this track particularly nasty on slowdowns? You would know because you had a 0x, but in practice you must have found spots that was pulling you up.
I think the track's pretty good for slowdowns. Like you can run pretty wide, but like turn 2, 3 is pretty easy to get a bit loose with the rear on cold tyres. So.
Yeah, and I think last time I drove around here, maybe if you adjust that little bit too wide out of the first corner, that'll give you a slowdown. That's probably, I'll see if I can pull it up, but he did dive to the inside, and a couple of the boys got past him, so that might have explained his little bit sideways as well. But I'll let Zach chat with you whilst I try and see if I can find what happened to him.
Yeah, and then I might get you to take up front running for a moment here, Grant, because unfortunately I'm not going to make it without a pit stop at my end. Yeah, we're talking in code, but everyone knows what I'm saying. The fuel tank is full. Danchi, how do you tackle next week, mate? Because obviously Monday night you're a little bit more comfortable there than you are Thursday night. And Adam Lavis will be crunching the points at the moment. We've got to talk to him in a moment too, because he was third in the open split tonight. And we've got we've got Jeff Adams standing by here, who was second home in that, just behind Richard King. But how do you attack next week, mate? Because obviously, first race, grid's determined by qualifying. Second race, an invert top 10. I would imagine that's the damage limitation race, and you've got to be mindful of where Corey is and really nobody else, given the position you're in the championship. And then you can go hell for leather in that third and final longer race, that 35-minute one.
Yeah, I think we just got to be just nice and easy, try and get the W in the first race, and maybe just try and work towards like a top 5, top 3 maybe for the second race, so then we get a decent grid for the third race.
All right, very nicely done. Although that being said, the Red Bull Ring, it's an interesting beast, isn't it? Because it offers up close racing, tight racing, plenty of overtaking opportunities, but the overtaking opportunities might look straightforward, but they're far from it.
There's quite a few tricky corners there as well, some off-cambered downhill things, and so you've got to be very particular with your inputs there. So we'll have to see how the car feels, but if it's anything like tonight, we should do pretty well.
All right, Zach, why don't you go and empty the tank? And
thank you.
We saw a number of cars going round on either under braking or on acceleration out of some of these tricky corners, and that will definitely be an issue, won't it, next week with that, like as you say, the off-camber corners, and even getting hard on throttle out of turn 3 at the top of the hill. Setup be a big thing, do you think, for this week coming into Red Bull?
Yeah, I think a lot of people will probably try and go minimum wing just to try and get the maximum speed down the straights, but I think the key will probably be maybe a couple of clicks higher on the wing from minimum, just so you get a little bit more traction.
Yeah, because there are some pretty heavy traction, certainly that one at the top of the hill, and even to get that good run out of turn 1, maintain your apex speed through there and get a good run up to the top of the hill, and probably help you with braking as well. But I'm just looking to see if Adam's still inputting madly some numbers in there. I might just, if you'd like to hang around for a bit, Maddie, I'm sure Zach will have some more questions for you. I might go to Jeff Adams at this point in time. And Jeff, you had a pretty good race by all reports. So we checked in on you from time to time, and had a good run in there with the Open Cup, finishing in second behind Richard King. How was your evening, and what were your highlights, Jeff?
Yeah, had a good night. I've got, obviously, I've got to give a shout out to Richard. He's done pretty well, keeping up pace. He might get pushed up to the elite next season.
Oh,
but
like Dane did this season.
Yeah, that was a bit disappointing. I was kind of chasing him down, and I've got Paul as well, in the chase, and I really needed those points tonight, and I was coming out with a clean race again. I got a clean race last week as well, so it's a bit, I'm due for a bad run, which is not what you want at the end.
No, you're due to continue your good run, surely.
Oh, look, I hope so. I'm right up the pointy end. I'm really close to getting taking a lead off Paul, and he's a good driver. So I'm really looking forward to the battle. It's going to be a good fun at the Red Bull Ring there.
Yeah, I'd say.
And there's hopefully. I was going to say, hopefully we get a good clean race. That's really what it comes down to.
Well, 3 races, in fact. But I'd say my guesstimation would be that probably should elevate you past him tonight, because that was a 5th for him. Let me have a look at the what am I looking at over here? The results, and look at the class. That's not the one. It's this one I want.
I think all I needed to do was finish in front of him. That's all I needed to sort of take that, because there was only 5 points in it.
Yes, and a 0x will help a long way with that as well. So he was 5th, but should put you in pretty good stead. So that is, according to the points showing here, gives you 12 points lead over him without the 0x, and he did not. No, he had 6x. So, and Adam Lavis in with a 3rd, and he had a couple of X's as well. So I think you're the only open class with a 0x, which is fantastic work.
It's pretty hard.
Oh,
it's pretty hard to get cleaner in this place.
Were you in any battles? I think you were in some good battles with the elite boys, weren't you?
I had a couple of runs, but I really wasn't racing them.
No.
I was really just trying to stay clean and keeping those tyres, because really I haven't had a lot of practice this week, and all the practice that I did do, I was ending up with 20% tyre at the end of my race, and I really wasn't looking very happy about it. But did a little bit of practice with my teammate Richard at the start, and he sort of helped me through a couple of things, and he was a rocket tonight. So I think last week we finished 1-2, and this week we've finished 1-2, and I hope we sort of do a bit of a trifecta there. And but again, I had Adam coming up behind me, and he was getting bigger and bigger in my mirror, and I was getting more nervous at the time. But I really didn't know where my tyres were going to be at the end there. But I ended up with I think I had like 57% tyres at the end, so I really had more tyre than I thought.
Yeah.
But again, with the practice that I did, I really didn't think I had it. So yeah, but I ended up coming good at the end there.
Well, due to the marvels of simulation, the track does rubber in, and the fuel load does go off. So that's worked somewhat. But I think it started about 40 degrees, didn't it? The track temperature. It was a hot old start.
Yeah, it was a hot track. Definitely a hot track. It made it more difficult for us, sort of lower class guys compared to the elite boys like Matt. He's just a rocket, and we really, when we're racing, it's good to sort of see him be up that far ahead, but just shows you what you can do. But look, I don't think I'll ever get anywhere near him, and not anytime soon anyway. But hopefully I can get faster.
Did anyone take tyres tonight, Jeff?
Not that I know of. No. I didn't take tyres. I think even Adam Maverick, he ended up with like 25% tyre at the end there. I think he might be able to tell us if he gets any. But Richard King, he ended up with, I think he got his tyres down to like 18% or 20%. He was really pushing at the end there. So, but again, I really saved my tyres, which was really unsurprising. Not unsurprising. I didn't really know what was going to happen like that. So.
That's just the way it is. So you've got to go with the best available information to you. These cars will give you a tyre temperature readout in real time, though, won't they? If I remember correctly.
Yeah, not tyre temp. I think it's tyre pressure. So I think in kph, kPa, sorry.
Right.
So your kilopascals there, I think is staying at 200 was getting hot.
Yeah, when
sitting
they're hot,
below 200 was probably good.
Yeah, they get pumped up, don't they? And all goes to a bit mushy. But you really enjoyed this evening's combo, and you're talking about Red Bull Ring. Is that one of the tracks you like driving on?
I've never really driven it in the Porsche. I've done it in the GT3s and the GT4s, and I've always enjoyed it. But these Porsche are a different beast altogether, so I've really enjoyed the challenge this season of trying to learn this car, because I haven't ever raced this car before, so this is my first real season in it, and it's been good learning, and just watching the lines of the faster guys and really trying to pick what they're doing and trying to copy it as much as I can.
And everyone always says drive the harder cars, because it'll make your driving in the other cars so much better, be it the V8s, be it the old stock cars, be it these things that can be a bit quirky and do require more of you, that it just benefits you. But you were talking about Matt just being so far ahead and never really, you don't think you'll get there. But it's funny, isn't it? You'll just do something a bit different, or you've been doing something different, you go back to what you used to do, and all of a sudden there might be a half second here or there, and it's all those little increments, isn't it, that if you can put them together ends up getting you a whole bunch further down the track.
Yeah, that's what sort of brings you back to it, really. You sort of get frustrated with your pace, and then all of a sudden something clicks, and then you sort of go, oh yeah, I can do this, and then you do really shit for ages, and then you do really bad for a while, and then all of a sudden something clicks, and you go, oh yeah, that's right, that's why I do this.
No, well, it's all right, mate. We'll accept the first word. We're after 9:30 Western. 7:30 Western, I should say.
Right.
I wasn't quite sure there.
No, you can say shit all you like. You just can't say.
Yep.
But
you can't just use. You just can't use the F or C letter 4-letter words. That's the only one we try and avoid around here.
Particularly, yeah. But it's a little akin to a game of golf, isn't it? You play 96 strokes on a 72 par or something, or 110 strokes, but you hit one or two down the middle, and you go, God, that was good. I'm coming back to do this again.
Yeah, you only need one good shot.
That's it. I always figure, you're paying for the whole course, you may as well use it.
Yeah, I used to play golf, and hence the word used to.
Yeah.
Okay. Too stressful for me after a little while. So, yeah, sim racing is the next stressful thing I have to try to get into.
And do you think you'll be lining up for another Porsche Cup season next season for 23C, second part of the year?
Yeah.
Maybe. We'll have to look at my timesheet and see how I go. I've got quite a busy schedule with my kids and stuff like that. I'm quite busy.
Right.
And I've got a move coming up, so I don't know. I'll have to have a look, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm really enjoying learning the car. That's
Excellent.
really what the big thing is, and that's what I'm really enjoying. So,
Brilliant.
but yeah.
Well done.
All
well
right.
done tonight. We look forward to seeing how that very, very tight battle, as I said, that should put you ahead of Paul. I think Adam's still working through it, but not sure if he's got all the bonus points in, but it's looking pretty good for you there, Jeff. And I think next week will be an absolute cracker between the three of you up the top, particularly between you and Paul. And I hope everything goes well for you.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I'm looking forward to it. I'll see you guys next week.
Good on you.
Good on you, Jeff. Thank you, mate. And thank you to Grant for steering the ship there whilst I went and relieved the pressure. Let's press on here. Obviously, Corey Lazarus not with us tonight, but he did just exchange pleasantries with Matty Dench in Discord, saying well done and good luck. See you next week in the grand final. the reply was sent from Denchi as well along the same lines. So looking forward to seeing those guys go at it next week at the Red Bull Ring, an out-and-out fight to determine who will be the Blackout Electrical Solutions Porsche Cup Elite Champion for 2022 Term 2. 2023 Term 2, I should say. Season 13, Term 2. Yeah, I can see where I tripped up there. That's okay. All right. It happens to the best of us, doesn't it? I told you maths wasn't a strong point. Now, before we go any further, Adam Lavis is in the house, so I'm hoping that we can either have a chat to him or at least get some updated championship points from him very shortly, Grant. I know he's punching that out as we speak, so it'll give us an indication as to where we are and where we're at and where we're going. Denchi, it's interesting too. I know Grant and Jeff and I were talking about it there a moment ago, but the temperature of the track tonight was really hot. A little bit surprised that the rubber handled that heat for as long as it did. Did you ever contemplate tyres at any point, or was it not even in the equation?
I mean, at the first pit stop, I sort of took a look at the percentage of the tyres, and left side was on like low 70%. So I was like, it's probably going to be okay. And we left the tyres off on the second stop, and they were like 50% in that second stop. So I think the last 3 or 4 laps, the car was, I think the rear left was ready to eject itself off the car. So we just rolled around then.
All right, very nicely done. And when Adam Lavis is ready and he unmutes his microphone, we will have a chat to him because he was third in the open split tonight, which was a fair effort. Given all the bad luck he's had whenever we've put the camera on him in the past, Grant, it was nice to actually see him handle it tonight and not fall foul of it. I thought we were in trouble there at one point, but thankfully, no. He ended up steering clear of all the drama around him, and especially on that second lap there. Geez, that was a pile up in a bit, and brought it home to the checkered flag. Now, there are some new driver allocation announcements being made by Adam Lavis now as well with regards to who's moving up and down. By the looks of it, no one moving into the elite split from the open split, so that is good to see. If someone's dropping back from the elite split to the open split, or whether all those unclassified drivers coming into tonight are just jumping up into the open split, Adam will be able to elaborate on that for us in just a few moments. Whilst we wait for him, big thanks to Blackout Electrical Solutions, naming rights sponsor of the Porsche Cup this season. Also, Waste Options, our naming rights sponsor of Monday Night Motorsport. Login Systems, the naming rights sponsor of the GT3 Endurance Championship, as well as our other sponsors, West Orange Motors, Astute, Fisher and Door Lawyers, and also Flash Graphics. And Adam Lavis is now with us, I'm pleased to say, so we can have a chat to him. Mate, firstly, well done on the third place finish in the Open Cup. But let's start with the Renault Clio. Were you happy to see the back of that and the back of Winton as well?
No, I didn't find that bad. The annoying thing obviously was the fact that the brakes locked up instantly as soon as I went to make a freaking move. That was annoying. But other than that, it was just a matter of, it's one of those cars, it's much easier to lose time than it is to gain time. So a tiny little slide or a tiny little misjudgment, a little bit wide, and you lose your momentum and all your lap time goes. So it's more about minimizing your time loss more than trying to find time with that thing. So it's about just trying to be smooth and consistent and keeping your lines as clean as possible. So it's one of those cars. It's probably a good learning car, but it is frustrating because you do have to stay in that confined little space to try and get the best pace out of it.
Interesting you say that, because Liam Banks has got a great observation on that. As he said, every car has a finite amount, a finite speed, a finite time they can do with a perfect lap. And it's then up to each individual driver to not lose as much time as everyone else, and that way you win. But you've said exactly that in a different set of words, which I'd never really thought of it like that, and but it's interesting.
Yeah, well, because a lot of other cars where you're more on top of the car and you're the one pushing for the lap time. It's more about trying to extract the time out of the corners and getting your lines in the entry and getting that slide right and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
With that little Clio though, because it's underpowered, it's got very low grip. The brakes aren't that great, so it's more about keeping that momentum going. And so it's all about just if you lose that momentum, you lose lap time, and then all of a sudden, the guys just drive away from you. So you just got to try and work out how to stay in that pack.
Looks like a comment from young Ben there saying, enjoy cooking some late dinner on my tyres right now. Obviously his were toast. So
Absolutely they were.
Someone in the chat said that they didn't give a name, but they did say someone was down to 5% in their front left.
Oh.
So that would have been a bit of a struggle for the last couple of laps.
Yeah, absolutely. So it'll meatball you at 0, won't it, or thereabouts?
I think it's similar to the Formula 1 game where there'll be a percentage, say 30%, that it basically gives you a random chance at a puncture.
Right. Yeah. If
once you get into a certain zone of tyre wear, your chances of a puncture increase. So we have seen it in Porsches before, Phillip Island, things like that.
Yep.
And this track, you wouldn't think this track would be that sort of, because the most of the high speed corners are only short, but there's enough of them, and they're all sort of the left-handers, so it really punishes that right-hand. That's why you're right-handers, so that really punishes the left-hand side of the car.
By the looks of it, Magnus Roney was stretching it a little bit there with 5%. Boys, he might be the clubhouse leader on that front. Extraordinary stuff. Must be nice to have a nice result though, Adam, because I mean, let's be honest. Thursday night Motorsport has been rather cruel to you in the past.
Yeah. I was obviously frustrated with the spin, and then I got a clip, but I was like, I don't think it was under damage, and I didn't feel anything. And I probably should have taken one of my fast repairs just to make sure, but I didn't, because it still felt fine. But what I was thinking, because I was looking at it and I realized there was no chance of saving the fuel, and I got caught. I think I caught up to, I think it was Callum near the end of the first stint. Yeah, that's him in front of me there. And I was like, I could try and pass him, or I would go the opposite strategy. So I did the short fuel in the first one, thinking I could do the full fuel and tires on the second one. And then I got to the second stop got in there, waited for the jacks to go up, and there was no jacks. So I was like, this car's a fuel and tire separate thing. So I turned those tires off before that cost me any time, and I just took the fuel. And then because I'd already used my tires up, so I was down to 21% of my tires at the end of the race, because I already used them a bit in the second middle stint. So.
Mm-hmm.
But for those of you following along at home, Port Adelaide got the job done over Geelong 16-14, 110 to 11-6, 72. And currently, the match underway in football circles is Australia taking on Argentina. And already after 25 minutes, it's the Argentinians up 1-0. That game being played in Beijing. And don't ask me, because no one's really sure why. Neutral territory. It's not the World Cup. It's a friendly. They've taken the friendly to China. I don't know. Adam Lavers. Hey, next week, Toyota 86 at Sandown. That'll be first up assignment on the Thursday night. Then the Red Bull Ring, which is a hit-and-miss circuit. It's not everybody's favourite, but it is a good track for good racing.
Yeah, looking forward to Sandown. Sandown's one of those tracks that just I actually click with. It's probably one of my best result where I managed to almost sweep the TCR finale a couple of seasons ago.
That's right.
That was very unexpected, and it was one of the things. And then we had TCRs in the Formula V8s last night, and normally with qualifying, I normally somewhere third, fourth, fifth, sixth, mid pack with the qualifying. But I actually put a lap in at Sandown last night where I actually put a couple of the elite guys between me and the rest of the guys. I was like, oh, hello. We're on for a big race here. So Sandown's very friendly to me, so I don't mind that. So hopefully that should go well, as long as we stay out of the trouble with the incidents. And Red Bull is actually another one I don't mind. Other than turn 4, that's depending on the car, that can be tricky. The downhill braking zone, that's probably the hardest part of the track. And then also if someone tries to brake in front of you for the pits, that's always annoying. But other than those two things, it's very, very fun, very fast. It'd be interesting with the Porsches. I'm not sure. Then you would know probably. Are these things good with the tow? Do they get much slipstream? Oh, he's gone, is he? Well. I had another question for him as well.
Well, he did say, just as a little...
to be fair, he actually stuck around longer than he usually does.
Yeah, he does good. Yeah, but yeah, the thing is, depending on, because some cars the tow helps you with a bit of lap time, but doesn't really give you enough to pass unless you get a better exit. If you're on equal playing ground, it's not really a passing tool. But we'll have to wait and see how much how much drag this car's got to whether the downforce is key and how much moves we can get done next week.
I'll give you his little tip, and you've got to always be careful because it might be a bit of subterfuge. It might be trying to put people off. But he said he thinks a lot of people will go for absolute minimum wing, but his thoughts are that maybe a click or two extra will give you that little bit of extra grab off the corner, off the first corner as well, up the hill. Yeah.
That middle sector is key as well, so you don't want to sacrifice too much in that middle sector.
Yeah.
Because the thing is because they're fairly fast corners onto those straights. So although at the end of the straight the wing will probably cost you a little bit, as he says, that getting onto the straight will probably make up for it with a little bit more grip. So
yep. Now we're right to have a look at championship points.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was going to say he wouldn't unmute himself if he wasn't. I wouldn't have thought.
I like
let's
to check.
do that.
I'd like to get consent before I proceed. So with that said,
oh no, let's have a look at it. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. That's the elite split, of course. Matty Dench leading the way by 28 now on the back of tonight's result, and the clinical one it was to bag the whole 100. That were up for grabs there. 473 plays 441. And yes, you're looking at the screen there thinking, hang on, it's a 32-point buffer and 73 is 27. Yeah, but Denchi, of course, had a 5-point buffer coming into the round. So also, 32 points adds up perfectly.
Also, remember, he's got 90. Has he dropped? No, he's got 93 points to drop. Should he need them? So
and Lazarus has 96, which doesn't do him any favors if Denchi's dropping 93 because he'd still fall short. But what's that? 29. So
that's the combined. Yeah. That's the 2 rounds.
Okay.
So
okay.
You got to go to the other end of the sheet to find it, but basically, Denchi's got 47 and Lazarus has got 49 points dropped around up their sleeve.
Right.
Which still doesn't help Lazarus in the greater scheme of things, does it? Because 49 and 47 would be, still only 2 points taking off that. So it'd be 30%.
But if Denchi only gets 47, and the next week you got 120 points on the line, plus bonuses.
Yeah, but I'm saying worst case scenario, if neither one of them pocket a point next week, and one gets 47 and the other gets 49, well, it's 30 in favour of Denchi. Yeah. So, no, the equation is pretty simple. Lazarus needs to win and win well next week if he's to steal this one from Matty Dench. Shane Wright is still fighting for third. Kai Ardley was absent tonight. 368 for Wright, 331 for Ardley, 318 for Sproul. 299 for Barker, just ahead of Smith. Have a look at that if you don't mind. 298 and 292 for Alex Schmidt. So 3 drivers fighting for 6th place, separated by 7 points at the moment. Then 267 for Gordon Ramsay and 248 for Guy Leach, and Dane Snadden just outside. Forget about the rest.
What a great result!
The open split.
What a great result for Dane Snadden if he finishes top 10 after being promoted
100%.
midway through the season.
Terrific to see.
The other split.
Open split.
This is a little bit more interesting.
Ooh, 20 points the margin. Jeff Adams to the championship lead in the absence of Paul Wilson. In light of Paul Wilson finishing down in 5th tonight, I should say. At the expense of is what I was trying to get at. Geez, I'll spit my words out properly one night. Adam Lavis is now 3rd in the fight, only 9 points clear of Richard King, so that's spicy as well, the battle for 3rd in the points race. 299 for Stephen Gallagher, just ahead of Truk Fung Wong and Callum Heinrich. Those guys only covered by 19 points. So a good little battle packs forming all throughout that top 10. Chapman, Rees and Baldwin finish it off, and of course Trucker didn't race tonight, so he's still within striking distance of Sean Rees, and obviously with Greg Padgett not racing, and Jonathan Hooper not finishing, he's been able to scrape into still being in the top 10 at the end of the round. Excellent stuff.
Sean Rees did not race either, so
there were a few absent tonight, and it'll be interesting to see if they all come out for the Red Bull Ring next week, because if they do, the amount that didn't turn up tonight, we should have 40 on the grid next week, which would be terrific for the season finale of the Blackout Electrical Solutions Porsche Cup. Adam Lavis and Grant Gill, thank you. I think we might wrap it up there, boys.
I think so.
It's only 20 to 11 on a Thursday night. GSRC.merch.myshopify.com or merch.tgsrci.com. Whichever, it takes you to the same place. I guarantee you. Both those websites take you to the same shop. But sink your teeth into some of our great GSRC merch. And join in the fun of the fair when we broadcast on a Monday and a Thursday night throughout the course of the season. The GSRC GT3 Endurance Championship wraps up Sunday week when the field heads to Mount Panorama Ballast for 8 hours of competition. Our coverage, of course, will be kicking off early in the morning, and there'll be 2 parts. We'll bring you the start of the race, we'll bring you the finish of the race, and you just have to fend for yourself, probably look at the live timing screen throughout the rest
Sam
of
normally
the day.
puts up a split screen with the live timing and the, I think, focusing on most exciting or leaders. So you can see it all in one place without having to multi-screen as well. He does a good job.
Like
with
the old Channel 7 mega wall.
Yeah,
I like it.
And we've got
I
to
like
get
it.
Dave to do us a new poster with with our actual sponsor on there. So,
Login Systems, of course,
Login
yes.
Systems.
That's right.
Thank you very much for the support.
And as far as the rest of it's concerned, Grant, let's have a look at what's coming everybody's way. Tomorrow night, Las Vegas Motor Speedway for the USF 2000s as Wings and Slicks continues. There'll be 2 races there, a full reverse grid for race 2. That will be good fun, well worth the price of admission. Las Vegas is a good little bull ring too. Unfortunately, most notoriously remembered for Dan Welton's fatality. And fatal crash back there in 2011 in the IndyCars, but still a great little racetrack for open wheelers. Sandown is the venue Monday night for the entree. Now, I'm not with you for the entree at this stage, but I will be with you for the main course. Monday night Motorsport comes to you from Sandown International Raceway in Melbourne, Victoria. Great little track this for any sort of racing. Doesn't matter what category we take there, it always delivers up some good stuff. One of our favourites in Australian motorsport circles, and like Oran Park, set to continue its legacy in the sim world if it ever... it's been rumoured to be going for 10 years, I swear. If it ever does part company with the real world, we've got it in the sim world thanks to iRacing's brilliance of laser scanning. 19th of June, grand final week 2.0 for 2023. Yep, the end of term 2 is in sight, ladies and gentlemen. The checkered flag is near, and we get it underway with Waste Options Monday Night Motorsport. GT4 first up, the 10th and final round from Sandown. That's an extended 45-minute race there for those guys. I'm not with you. Liam Banks and Adam Lavis will be. Because I'm required to anchor some West Bromwich Radio basketball commitments next week, only on the Monday night. As per usual, just the usual standard piss poor inconvenient timing, and that you can't be in 2 places at once. But yes, Sandown is the venue. Waste Options GT4, Jared Knight in the box seat there. I'll be back in the commentary box ready for GT3, firing on all cylinders coming in off the long run though, and it will be day 4 of the first test of the Ashes as well, so we'll have updates from Edgbaston for you. The Red Bull Ring Grand Prix circuit, the venue, and 90 minutes, the fun of the fair there. The distance between Matty Dench and potentially title number 6. Join us Monday night for all of that action from 7:30 Australian Eastern Standard Time. Tuesday night, the boys will be with you for the up-and-comers finale, the Formula Vs and the Toyota 86s and the FR 500s. Yep, 3 30-minute races there, 3 different servers, 3 different cars. Good luck. You're going to need it on Tuesday night, and the boys will be with you from 7:25 Eastern Time for that, Tuesday, June 20. Wednesday night, Road Atlanta, the venue for the finale for Formula Ford. That'll be good. That will be real good. Then on to the Grand Prix of Belle Isle Circuit in Detroit, Michigan for the 9th round of the Supercar Series, of course, because those guys are coming back for week 11. And the production cars, next Thursday night, Grant Gill and I can't wait for this. Cannot wait for this. Sandown, the venue first up, Toyota 86s, or Toyotas, as it says there, Grant.
Yeah. I just saw
Toyotas.
Yeah,
I think that's what the youth call it these days. Totes and Toyotas. It works. I like it. First up from Sandown for 2 sprint races
right
there.
next door.
And yeah, it absolutely is. 100% in every sense of the word. And of course, then onto the Red Bull Ring for the Super Sprint 3-race finale for the Blackout Electrical Solutions Porsche Cup. Jeez, it's been all night at last from the outset. Unfortunately, Chris Whittaker was the reason for most of them. And of course, we've had some fun here in the post-race show as well. But one thing remains the same. Team Whittaker are still on top of the production car series, despite a couple of new names coming to the fore. in the second race there. John Merritt, great to have him back. And of course, we should also point out, Greg was brilliant. Greg was terrific. We should also point out that Chris has done himself an injustice because he might not actually be able to lift the crown next week because he's going to be over in Fiji. So we don't know what the hell is going to unfold. But if it's not Chris, it'll be Brendan, because it's, provided that he doesn't do a mischief on himself in the next week and throw it away at Sandown. They are 1-2. They are comfortably so. We'll wait and see what happens when we get to Sandown next week in the production cars. And then, of course, tantalising prospect in play here for the final round of the Blackout Electrical Solutions Porsche Cup, because Matty Dench returned to his absolute stunning best tonight. Clinical performance from first until last, won it over 35 laps, won it by over 24 seconds. And we're looking forward to seeing whether he can wrap up title number 6, not just in GT3 on Monday night, but also back here in the Porsches on Thursday night. He's going to get well acquainted with the Red Bull Ring over the course of the next 7 days, because that's where both grand finals will be held. It's become our new Bathurst. I'm not sure why. But anyway, we're looking forward to grand final week. We hope you are as well. And of course, don't forget, grand final week runs all the way through to Sunday, because the boys will be with you for the final round of the GSRC GT3 Endurance Championship for semester 1 of 2023 as well. It's term 2 of the year. It's nearly done. Halfway to the checkered flag as far as 2023 is concerned. I can't believe I'm saying that already, unless you're in Queensland, where we're already, of course, you're counting down to the start of the summer of 19, 11, 12, but that's another story for another day. I had to get that one in before we go, just get it out of the system. Thanks for your company. Hope you enjoyed it. Season 13 of the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club continues to go from strength to strength and deliver each and every night. We're with you. We're sure that grand final week will be no different. Until then, get out and enjoy the smorgasbord of sport on right around the country this weekend. Good luck to locally the nearly 400 karters that are in town for the 5th round of the Ipswich Kart Club Championships, which serves as the shakedown for round 4 of the national titles here in 4 weeks' time. Good luck to everybody in the Motorsport Australia Trophy Series at Sydney Motorsport Park and the State Championship round at Morgan Park Raceway here in Warwick, Queensland as well. There's also some racing on up in Darwin. Formula One's back from Canada, one of the great Grand Prix of the year. We'll also have MotoGP as a lead-in, as an entree, as a warm-up on the Sunday night from the Saxon Ring in Germany. IndyCar on Monday morning from Road America as well. NASCAR, I think, back on the agenda as well from Nashville. So there's so much happening throughout the course of the weekend in motorsport circles. And then, of course, in non-motorsport circles, the US Open Golf and the Ashes taking centre stage, as well as everything else that's normally unfolding, AFL, NRL, and the like. So no excuse not to be sinking your teeth into some quality sporting entertainment throughout the course of the next 72 hours until, or actually 96 hours until 93 hours. Let's back that up a little bit until we're back with you for the start of grand final week on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. In the meantime, on behalf of Grant Gill and the broadcast, commentary and production team here, I'm Zach Caban. Have a great weekend, everybody. Thanks for coming along for the ride on Thursday Night Motorsport. We sincerely hope that you enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed bringing it to you. Come back and join us for grand final week. Until then, bye for now.